All right. Testing. Okay. We're starting a minute early. Clock was taking too long. Hey, everybody, and welcome to Cool Beans Hot Stuff. Today is Terrifying Tuesdays. Ooh, I love me some Terrifying Tuesdays. And it is my second favorite day of the week behind Film Buff Fridays because I love talking about movies and I love talking about spooky shit. And today's spooky shit, we are going to continue with our 50 States of Cryptids series, which, by the way, I thought that was like so ingenious when I thought of it. I was like, man, you're a genius, bro. You're brilliant. That's so catchy. And then I got on YouTube and realized, like, I don't know how many other channels had already done this before me. So it is what it is, whatever. This is my 50 States of Cryptids. And we're going to continue today with the deserts of Arizona, which I'm also stoked about because this is the first channel or the first state that we're going to be talking about that I've actually lived in. I used to live in Phoenix. So Phoenix was awesome. I think I lived there in 2000, like 11, 12, somewhere in that area. Beautiful city, very hot. Holy shit. Woo. Fuck, it's hot down there. But it's a cool place. And now we get to talk about some of the crazy ass creatures they got down there that I never even heard of. I must have not lived down there long enough to hear some of these. So if you're new to the Terrifying Tuesdays, the 50 States of Cryptids thing, first of all, if you're watching live, thank you for being here, and I hope you enjoy the stream. Go ahead and feel free to comment and everything too, because I'm just getting used to the whole Twitch thing, and it seems like a lot of people like to sit and chat on Twitch, which I'm totally cool with. The whole reason I decided to do a live stream instead of make YouTube videos is one, I'm lazy, and two, it's a lot funner to sit and talk to people about whatever it is that we're researching, right? But if you're new to the channel, then hello, hope you like it. And if you do, then like, subscribe, follow, ring bells, whatever it is that you do on whatever platform it is you're watching it on. If you're seeing this on YouTube, then I hope you enjoy the video. Same thing, like, subscribe, ring the bells, do all the shit. I appreciate it. And there was something else I was going to say. What was it? Oh, yeah. So if you're new to this, what I generally do, this is like, I guess I just call it like a research channel for lack of a better word. Okay, I wasn't like super genius when I was naming it, but it's like a research channel. I just like to research things that I think are cool, really is what it is. Learn about new things. I'm not like a expert on cryptozoology or any of the things that I talk about actually on this channel. I have some expertise in some things. All right. I worked in recording studios for like 8, 9 years. So I know a lot about music and music production, and I don't talk about any of it. I don't do nothing like that on this channel. But instead, I wanted to learn about cool shit, things that I thought were cool, and then learn with somebody else. So what we do on these 50 States of Cryptids is I just take 2 or 3 hours. I research all the different cryptids that are out there in that particular state, and then get a whole bunch of videos and articles and sightings and all the shit, compile it all, throw it all together, boop, beep, bop, send it to the computer, and then when the day comes up, I pop it up and read it all with you guys. Sometimes, that was a burp, sometimes it works out really good, and sometimes I'll get it doesn't. Sometimes I'll end up pulling up videos that are really shitty or articles that are really stupid, but we suffer through it together, And again, the whole point is I'm learning with you guys. Sometimes the articles aren't the best. Sometimes they're a lot of fun, though. And this time, I think we got a lot of good articles here, and we got a lot of really cool monsters. I got my little handy dandy note card right here. I think we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 monsters that we're going to go through today. Anytime I do like a top 10, it never ends up being a top 10. It's always like a top 9, a top 7, a top 11. I can never get a top 10. I still haven't gotten it to this day. This is the beginning of my 4th month streaming, so I've only been streaming for 3 months now, and I still haven't gotten a top 10 yet. It's a top 10, 11, 12, 12 and a half, everything else. But let's go ahead and look into our top 11 today, starting with the first one, the rake, which kind of surprises me. Okay, if anybody here is watching, has seen this channel before, I do a lot of creepypasta stuff on Terrifying Tuesdays. I fucking love me some creepypastas, right? And we talked about the rake a little bit on Creepypasta Day. The rake is from, it's a creepypasta. And if you don't know what a creepypasta is, then you go check my video out on YouTube, on the Cool Beans Hot Stuff YouTube channel. I think it's called The History of Creepypastas. I got another one out this week or this month coming out that's like my favorite creepypastas or something like that. Oh, it's about the SCP Foundation creepypasta. So if you don't know anything about that, that's coming up in a week. But yeah, go check out that video and you'll get up to date on what creepypastas are. But The Rake is a creepypasta, or at least that's when I first heard of it. It was a spooky story that was shared along the internet that people thought might be true, might not be true. It had a really creepy photo to go along with it. Here's the creepypasta in question. Let's get to the photo, though. You've seen this photo. There it is. Everybody's seen this photo. There's the Rake photo. Can I enlarge this? Is this a thing that I can do? Let's try. Computer enlarge. Nope. Magnify. Boom. Look at that. Ah, see, I'm figuring it out. This is my first PC I've ever owned, so fucking bully for me. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, everybody's seen this picture, right? That's the Rake. That picture got famous on the internet, and along with it came a story called The Rake, which is supposedly that thing. Well, supposedly they got themselves a rake down there in Arizona. Okay, so let's read about it. The Rake is a creature believed to be a humanoid in appearance, with several references in folklore and horrific urban legends, originally appearing on the internet as a creepypasta. Oh, see, I told you. See, I don't lie to you guys. I'm always honest. The creature reportedly attacks humans for unknown reasons and often causes its victims great psychological trauma. If you got attacked by that fucking thing, that would cause some serious trauma. Yeah, for sure. Several theories as to its development point towards internet threads and online discussions. However, others believe alcoholic delusions fueled the idea of the creature before then. Okay. I imagine we're not going to get any explanation for that, but whatever. The Rake has also been tied to alternate figures, such as the Slender Man. That's another creepypasta, an internet meme, and subject to several video games. Yeah, you'll learn all about Slender Man if you go check out that YouTube video on creepypastas. It is based on ancient folklore, referencing an unnaturally tall and skinny man mysteriously lurking in the woods. That's still the Slender Man. It is theorized that the Rake could possibly be a proxy of the Slender Man. Okay, that might need some explanation there. I can't explain the alcoholic delusions things. I've drinking a lot of alcohol in my life, and I ain't never seen no creepy crawly ass dude like that, you know? So I can't explain that one. But proxy for Slender Man, I know what that is. So I think, kind of, maybe. I might got it wrong. Maybe I get it wrong. You know, I'll tell you what I know. And if it's wrong, you can tell me in the comments, you know, correct me, say, Tony, you dumbass, this is what it is. But, so, Slender Man kidnaps people, kids usually, and then turns them into what he calls a proxy, which is like a ghost, something like that, that does his bidding. So people think, supposedly, maybe the Rake, ooh, look at this, this is a creepy ass. How did I do that little thingy? There it is. And magnify. Ooh, I like that. I can't drag it out. Can you make it bigger? No, that just turns it. Okay, well, and then that closes in. We don't need that. Oh, pressing control twice. Okay, well, look at that. I am getting all kinds of smart and shit at this. My mom would be proud. Can I move this little box? No. Yeah, you seen some motherfucker like that though. You know, that's creepy as shit. Yeah, so this guy supposedly maybe proxy for Slender Man. I don't know where that came from, but okay. Subject to its own self-mutilation and psychological disorders. Oh, poor guy. I'm starting to feel a little sad for him now. A YouTube channel showing images and footage captured of the Rake was closed down, but if you search The Rake Caught on Tape, you will find a half-hour video showing you these episodes. Okay, I tried that on my laptop, and I got nowhere. Where are you going? Nowhere. So yeah, I did not find any tape. Here, let's try it again just for shits and giggles so y'all can see for yourselves. The Rake Caught on Tape. Let's go to Google. The Rake. Proof is out there. Okay, this is... I actually think we have this one right here, so... Or something similar. Oh, this is a different one. Okay. Yeah, no. Terrifies Eyewitness. Yeah. Okay. This is the same one. We're just a little ahead in the video. So that's the only video... Wait. Oh, I just got out of it. Balls. So that's the only... There is no half-hour long video that I could find, right? So, you know, if anybody's watching this and they can find that video, you know, shoot that shit over to me because that would be interesting to see. But that's it. Then we got this right here. Oh, I did see that. Sir Spooks. Okay. I think we actually have that in the end. I'm going to be linking that in the description below. Every time I do a stream, we're going to go through YouTube videos, play some people's short sections of people's YouTube videos, watch them together, discuss them, give you my 2 cents. And then I'll always link the videos and links to the channel in the description below in the YouTube video. So if you're watching this on YouTube, anything we go over, plus a lot of extra videos that I don't include in the stream because they're too long. Like this was a 15-minute video right here, and I didn't include that in the stream because I got a whole 2.5 hours of other videos that I'm playing, but that will be in the link to the description. So if you check that out, Sir Spooks is a good channel, by the way. This guy covers all kinds of spooky shit. Obviously, his name is Sir Spooks, so give him a like and subscribe. But go check out his channel if you like this kind of content, because this guy makes some pretty cool stuff. All right, but yeah, so supposedly caught on tape, and pictures, lots of pictures of him. Reproduction. This creature is similar to that imagined and visualized in scenes from films such as Alien. It has never been clearly depicted to be either mammalian or reptilian. However, a recent YouTube video clip clearly exhibits and shows the creature reproducing by opening the host's mouth and releasing protozoars ingested by French kissing. That's a hell of a sentence. I wasn't expecting that. Okay, well, so don't kiss the rake. If you see him out and about, don't French that motherfucker, because puts eggs in your belly, I guess, something. It's like that. By exchanging fluids, that's what happens. The elongated cylindrical protozoar moves into the host as the creature grasps around the mouth cavity to ensure its smooth, rapid movement into the esophageal tract downward. The rake then releases its grip on the host with the protozoar nesting inside. The gestation period is probably both lengthy and horrific. It is not a worm parasite, but a living pupa that evolves into a fully developed humanoid rake. Oh, well, that's really nasty. That is really nasty. We need to check that out, right? That's the exact kind of nastiness that we need to watch on this channel, right? That's what we're here for. So they said this was a video, right? YouTube clip, rake, French kissing. Let's start with that. No, these are all how to French kiss videos. Okay, rake reproducing. I was wondering, I seen that section and I was like, reproducing? How the hell would they know how this guy reproduces? The rake, draw my life. No, that's actual drawing of it. Okay, to be continued. We might have to... Surveyor describes how do you yard to read blah 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 blah. Moose are cool. Moose are dope. They don't French kiss you and put eggs in your belly, so that's cool. That's a win for the moose. And yeah, I don't know. I'm not seeing this anywhere. We're gonna have to continue this. I feel like this could be a whole nother thing. I mean, wow, I didn't, when I was looking for rake videos, I did not realize how many there were. See, I got shit like this, like raking. I typed in rake videos and I got like how to rake your yard, that sort of thing. I guess I should have typed in rake reproducing and I would have gotten better results. Okay, description. The protozoar is nourished and fed by the host. Once fully developed, it releases... Hold on, is this a real word? Is protozoar actually a word, right? Because I'm kind of questioning this. I've never ran into this word in my life. Not saying I ever had a reason to run into this word. That's what I think that... No, a protozoa is just a single-celled organism. Yeah, protozoa. There is no such fucking thing as a protozoa. I thought so. No, there is. Okay, yeah. All right, my bad. This is all... There we go. In biology, the term protozoan... Okay. Protozoar is French for protozoa, it looks like. Okay, all right. That's an interesting mix-up to happen there, but yeah, so a protozoa... Okay, I've heard of protozoa. Yeah, it's a tiny little organism, right? I told you guys. See, I'm kind of smart. I know some shit here and there, and when I see a word, I'm like, I don't know about that one. So it's French for protozoa. So the protozoa is nourished and fed by the host. I feel like whoever wrote this did not know what a protozoa was. Once fully developed, it releases itself from the host as the rake. The propagation of this species is entirely dependent on a living human being. The rake must nourish itself like Nosferatu. It is a living vampire-like creature. Okay, I don't know exactly what that means. Nourish itself like Nosferatu. How does Nosferatu nourish itself? Does it drink blood? Is that what they mean? Vampire-like creature who needs the sustenance of meat and blood, both human and that of small animals. Okay. Eradication and avoidance. It is unclear if it is at all possible to eradicate this creature. Though there are some alleged filmed sightings of use of firearms, the creature would seem to be protected by its superior agility, speed, and superhuman strength. There are no known official guidelines for protection, but to avoid areas where the creature is likely to settle. I'm sure that's as official as a guideline can get, right? That's like federal guidelines for avoiding the rake and getting impregnated with its protozoa, such as hilly or mountain forested areas. That's where it lives, so stay away from that. Although limited in territory and range, the creature has been sighted in the USA, Europe, and Asia. Oh, look at that. So it's just all over the place, just impregnating people, shoving its protozoa in your mouth and shit. Okay, eyewitness accounts. The first account of the rake's existence was a mariner's log written in 1691. And I think we got that log up here. Right, meow. Where is it? Hold on. Just chill for a minute. When did it say? 1861? 1691. Oh, wow. Okay, I didn't say I was good with numbers. 1691. Mariner's log. Here we go. Mariner's log, right there. I'll be linking that in the description if we don't get to it. Okay, so this one identifies the rake by name. The next account, written in the 1800s, describes the rake as having hollow black eyes and being terrifying in nature. 1964, a suicide note was written in which the author claims to have committed suicide due to repeated encounters with the rake and the fear that the creature will torment him horribly. Currently, the most complete and completely fictional Tale of the Rake was written in 2006. The story begins with a woman waking her husband up in the early morning. As she sat up to go to the restroom, she saw what seemed to be a naked and incredibly pale man, or even a large hairless dog, at the foot of the bed and gasped. Ah. So that's what this shit is, right? Wait. How did I do that again? Hover. Control. Boom. Okay, look at that. So that's what this image is from. That's creepy ass dude chilling on the foot of your bed. Ooh, no bueno. Okay, where are we at? Creepy ass dude on her bed. After a few moments of this, in one fast motion, the rake scurried to the husband's side of the bed and stared at him for a moment. Ooh, yikes. Seconds later, the creature ran into the children's room. It fled covered in blood as the couple approached the room, leaving the mangled body of their daughter. Her last words were, "He is the rake." Okay, well, yeah, I feel like there was so much tension in that story till we got right there. Like, what? Why would that be in the story? Okay, some people need to learn a little bit about, increasing tension and payouts when it comes to story structure. The husband rushed the daughter to the hospital, but accidentally drove into a nearby lake and drowned with the daughter inside. What an asshole. Gosh. Several months after this horrible event, the woman began researching the creature she now identified as the rake. Through her research, she noticed a pattern of repeated visits in the reports she read. Based on this, she began digitally recording her room each night and listening to the tapes during the day to find out if the rake had revisited her. Ooh, this is getting spooky. At the start of the third week, she heard the first signs of a visit in the form of a shrill voice that she immediately recognized. She did not know where she had heard it, but regardless, she knew the sound. She noted that, "I can't listen to it long enough to even begin to transcribe it." The woman was later found dead on her floor. That's a bummer. Another encounter with the rake occurred in 2017. 3 girls sighted it inside a wood. So it was just in a wood. Like, here's the wood and it's inside of it. Right next to their neighborhood in Austin, Texas. One of the girls thought it was a cloaked man hunched over, which would still be terrifying. The same girl's eyes turned pure black after this encounter. Well, that's kind of cool. That's kind of a neat side effect, right? Like, I wouldn't mind having pure black eyes. That would be pretty dope. Another believed to be a wendigo, while the last girl thought it was a bush. I love that. That's great. That was the best right there. She's like, "Oh, it's a fucking creeper in a cloak." And this one's like, "It's a fucking wendigo." This one's like, "It's just a bush, you guys. Chill." The bush that makes your eyes go black, though. Later, one of the girls found a video that had rake footage on it. She showed it to one of the other girls. They realized that what they had seen only a short distance from them was, in fact, the rake. Yeah, whoever said it was a bush, she needs to get a pair of glasses because I ain't never seen no bush that looks like this fucking guy. Okay, so this is all on Monster Wiki. Okay, this is just fun, entertaining to read, right? It's a good collection of stories. We got the rake here shoving his protozoa into people's mouths, probably without consent too, so that's not cool. And some creepy eyewitness accounts. And yeah, all good fun. You know, I do like that they made the note here, and this, by the way, is completely fictional. As if as if all of this right here was like believable, right? It's still really good and entertaining for a fun read, right? That's what we're here for. We're not here to be serious. We're here to have some fun, chill, read some silly shit. But so, speaking of that, we do need to get super serious now, though. Okay, this is super serious time. Let's move over to my super serious camera. It's just the one with me not in it. But we're going to go over to the History Channel and hear what they have to say about the rake. And see if I get copyright struck, too. Because last time I did this, they gave me a copyright strike. But I am determined to learn about this rake. So fuck you, History Channel. We're going to learn about it, whether you like it or not. Let's see what this fella has to say about it.
Locations was once off limits, but in recent years, places like the old Eastern State Penitentiary in Philadelphia have become a beacon of tourism. Well, as you'll see in our next video, some abandoned buildings are best left abandoned.
July 23rd, 2011, in a suburb just outside of Portland, Oregon. Thomas Collins hears strange noises emanating from an abandoned house on a property adjacent to his parents' home.
This kid looks like such a dick. The way that he's like chewing on his cheek or whatever is just like, Mom, I don't want to take a fucking picture.
He enlists a good friend to join him in his investigation.
This is Andrew.
When the two
Kind of looks like
discover
Markiplier.
this,
There it is.
there's a high-pitched howl.
Be cautious.
My camera's having a really hard time picking this up.
Just wait.
As they enter the house, they see strange graffiti scrawled on the wall.
We have to make sure there's nothing in here.
I mean, when it's that late at night, all graffiti looks strange, especially in an abandoned building. Nothing is going to look right. Like, oh yeah, that's definitely supposed to be there. Like, no, it's all going to look fucking scary.
They turn off the light. But curiosity gets the best of them.
Yeah, they shouldn't have turned off the light.
It's on the roof. I think it's on the... The heck is that?
Ooh. Shit. Yeah, run. Get the fuck out there.
Let's see that again. Zoomed in
Let's
and
not.
slowed down.
We heard a noise, and that's when we turned and were able to spotlight that creature. But it scared us so much that we just ran. I didn't feel like it wanted to hurt
Dude, I would have tripped my friend and kept running.
me, but I felt like if it wanted to, it could. And so that was enough to give me a scare.
Although Thomas says he's been back to the property to investigate during daylight hours,
It kind of looks like the Proto Baggins, right? Proto Baggins here.
he's never encountered the alleged creature again. Field researcher Ken Gerhardt helps us decipher what we just saw.
So this is a video that, for obvious reasons, has gotten a lot of action online. It's very creepy, very reminiscent to a mysterious creature known as the Rake. A hairless humanoid creature standing about 6 feet tall, very cadaverous, gray, pallid skin, deep-set eyes. It's described as being very evil, terrorizing, even murdering people, particularly small children. Back in 1964, there was a gentleman who described this Rake creature as having tormented him and driven him to the point to...
And this story, I want to interject for fair use purposes, is right. Yeah, here we go. Suicide note. So this will all be linked in the video. So if you're watching this on YouTube, you can just click on the creepypasta.com rake and it'll give you all of that, right? And this video too. Even though these dickheads copyright strike me 24/7, I'll still put their video in the comments so you can check on it, give them a little love. I'm not giving them love. No likes. Down. Little down thumb for you fuckers. Okay.
Where he actually had to take his life.
Gerhardt also theorizes that it could be a fabled hairless being from Native American tales.
In the north central United States, we have tales of the Memagweshi, humanoid types of creatures, small in stature but with large heads.
He's kind of cute, not gonna lie. I mean, ugly cute, you know, like a pug, but, you know, kind of cute.
Large eyes, very malevolent and evil, very dangerous to humans.
Gerhardt suggests there may be another Native American myth connected to this. Dating back thousands of years, various American Indian tribes have spoken of extraterrestrial visitors they called star people, who bear a striking resemblance to the gray aliens often described in more modern-day alien abduction claims.
I definitely gotta write this down for another stream. Star people. Ooh.
Since this video was recorded in the wee hours of the night, whatever we're seeing here seems to have a sixth sense for thriving in darkness. You know, nocturnal predators such as owls, cats, and rodents have developed keen hearing, smell, and dark adapted vision in order to navigate and hunt at night. To assess the actual threat level from this nocturnal creature, we turn to our experts.
All right, the rake
Professor
experts.
of Anatomy
Here
and
we go.
Anthropology, Dr. Jeff Meldrum weighs in on the Managishi claims.
I think that the most telling disqualification is the size. I mean, these are described consistently as little people, and my experience with indigenous
He's even tiny. See, he just gets cuter and cuter.
populations here, that can be anything from 5 inches tall to 3 feet tall. But my impression,
You know, if this guy was 5 inches tall, right, little baby dude, that would be cute. I would want one of those. It's like a little keychain, like a little alien keychain, right? Be so cute. You name him Paul, just like the movie.
5 inches tall to 3 feet tall. But my impression was of a more human size being depicted in the video rather
that
than
ain't no
a
little
very
person.
small creature.
Anthropologist Kathy Strain has some insights into the...
That was a big-ass book she was reading, too. Look at that fucking thing. That's huge.
Anthropologist Kathy Strain has some insights into the Greys theory.
When people talk about the Greys, they usually bring up that there's little ones and there's big ones. And the larger ones have these very long necks and these big, large eyes. And
I don't care who you are. That's just goofy.
And this doesn't really look like that because their eyes are much smaller.
So if it isn't the...
I don't know. What do you think? I think that's a person. That looks like a dude. That totally looks like a creeper just peeking up out at you. Not even remotely as cute as this guy, right?
Managishi or Greys, could it be the fearsome rake? Meldrum sees some red flags.
One thing that struck me about this video was the very orchestrated feel. I've never heard anyone say, "Be cautious."
Be cautious.
Which seemed extremely contrived. And the only characteristics that really are discernible are that it has a pale, high forehead and rounded skull. That could be
a high forehead. Dude is bald, man. Come on. If you're bald, your whole head is just a forehead.
mask. And given the popularity of the rake image, there's no shortage of rake masks online.
Next, we bring in forensic video expert Michael Primo.
That's a good point. That's a good point. He loses points for the forehead comment because that was just silly. You know, it's being pointed at a bald guy and say he's got a big forehead. Like, bro, that's all his head is a forehead. But that was a pretty good point. Yeah.
To analyze if this video could, in fact, be an elaborate hoax.
This doesn't appear to be anything that was essentially CGI'd or manufactured. The physical aspects of the scene kind of confirm that this appears to be something within this scene, but whether or not it's a paranormal creature, determinations about that simply can't be made from a forensic perspective.
But Primo isn't satisfied, and it doesn't take him long to find more corroborative evidence online.
Upon further investigating, I found evidence that supported that this particular person that created this video had some sort of IMDb profile, specifically in the genre of science fiction.
Thomas Collins, you
this
dick.
Person does this professionally in some capacity to create videos.
That's
like
really
this.
cool.
it's pretty clear cut here that these videos have been post-produced and they are fake.
Oh. Shoot. What a bummer.
Our verdict? We're calling it a hoax. The scripted feel of the video and the human-like size of the creature are the main giveaways. Though Thomas still swears the encounter was real, we can clearly say this isn't a rake. But abandoned sites still remain a hotbed of supernatural activity. So rest assured, we will continue to explore them.
Okay, so there it is. History Channel for the win. It is fake. Bummer. That was a cool video, though. That was pretty spooky. They did a good job. What was that kid's name? Thomas something or another? He did a pretty good fucking job with that video, man. He's a talented little dude. So good for him. I mean, he's a dirty little fucking liar, but he's a very talented dirty little liar. All right. So I wanted to point this out before we move on to our next cryptid, because we got a lot of them. And there was surprisingly a lot of rake videos on the internet. It would be kind of fun to just do a whole episode just on like the rake, you know? But, you know, we're doing cryptids in Arizona, which was kind of the whole point. And nobody's mentioned Arizona yet. And they don't even mention Arizona in the fucking creepypasta. This is the creepypasta of the rake right here, which was posted in 2009, April 27th, right? This is one of the OG creepypasta here on creepypasta.com. That's a really dope website if you like your creepypastas. Got to check it out. They have all the originals there, right? So let me give you a little bit of that. Let's read. As the sun begins to set and the trees huddle together in the small dark groups of shielding themselves against the coming of night, you step quietly and quickly through the carpet of fallen leaves and stray twigs, recognizing and noting as you do every rustle, every snap of a branch created by your own footfalls. You note them so that you can distinguish them from the other sounds, the soft rustling of leaves, the crack of bracken somewhere behind you. I don't know what bracken is. You increase your speed, knowing that night is not the only thing drawing closer. Ooh, that's pretty good writing right there. The sound increases as your pace and heartbeats quicken. You turn and in the fading light catch a single glimpse of something some hunched crawling thing that is pursuing you. It's beautiful writing and I'm fucking it up. Creeping forward like an animal and yet looking so horribly human. You only caught a single glimpse, but then you start to run. One glimpse is enough. Ooh, it's a good intro. So, overview. Mostly associated with the image of a bald, pale-skinned creature hunched at an angle with bright orb-like eyes staring into the camera, the rake has become a staple creepypasta monster, adopted by many authors as shorthand for a creature resembling the one depicted in the photo and placed in various settings. During the summer of 2003, events in the northeastern United States, that's almost the exact, in fact, that is the exact opposite direction from from the Arizona, which is the southwestern, right? Human-like northeastern United States involving a strange human-like creature sparked brief local media interest before an apparent blackout was enacted. Little or no information was left intact, and most online and written accounts of the creature were mysteriously destroyed. Primarily focused in rural New York State, self-proclaimed witnesses told stories of their encounters with a creature of unknown origin. Emotions ranged from extremely traumatic levels of fright and discomfort to an almost childlike sense of playfulness and curiosity. Okay, until he shoves his protozoa in your mouth, right? While their published versions are no longer on record, the memories remain powerful. Several of the involved parties began looking for answers that year. In early 2006, the collaboration had accumulated nearly 24 documents dating between the 12th century and present day, spanning 4 continents. In almost all cases, the stories were identical. I've been in contact with a member of this group and was able to get some excerpts from their upcoming book. Buy best-selling books online. That's whole thing was an ad. No, that's the beginning of the creepypasta right there. And then these are the documents that they supposedly collected throughout this whole 2006, collecting all these documents. There's a suicide note in 1964, which I don't believe is in Arizona. a journal entry from 1880 that was in Spanish, so maybe it was in Arizona. A mariner's log. I have a hard time believing there was a mariner in Arizona. I'm just going to throw that out there. I could be wrong. I could be fucking stupid. Fuck me if I am. My bad. Niagara Falls. Don't think that's anywhere near Arizona. Pretty sure that's in New York. This is the whole Niagara Falls bit right here. I'll let you read that on your own time, though. Click that in the link below. And then I believe that's actually it. There was a couple more, I thought, wasn't there? So this is appearance, origin and images, yada, 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 boopa doopa doopa shoop. Starting off author. So this looks like this is the background of the actual creepypasta and the image. Ooh, let's read a little bit about the image. Hold on. Before we move on, let's just take a step back. Just chill. The image, which is now the one most closely associated with the rake, that was that black and white image, not the bed one, him crawling on the ground and shit. Burp. The image most closely associated with the rake mythology and the common starting point from which most rake fan art and variants are derived was actually taken seriously by mainstream media outlets when it first appeared. This still image, alleged to have been extracted from the memory card of a now broken night vision camera, was posted to the Wild Game Innovations site. Okay, by someone claiming to have actually encountered the creature. The image and story of the strange creature was then picked up by media outlets as widespread as Britain's The Daily Mail and NBC, oh shit, which featured the image and a brief report on the alleged sighting on its morning show. However, rather than this image influencing the initial ideas of the rake appearance, the timeline seems to indicate that the rake stories were retrospectively linked to this image, since discussions about the creature's appearance, Somerville's original story, and the first postings to major creepypastas and paranormal sites predate the image's creation and appearance in news media, which is, if you watch my history of creepypastas video, is kind of backwards. Oh, my cutie pie just got home. But anyways, usually it's the image pops up on the internet like Jeff the Killer, and then somebody writes a freaky ass story to go with it, right? Slender Man was the same way. Some dude created the Slender Man images for a photo competition, and then somebody else wrote the initial Slender Man stories, and then somebody else, the Marble Hornets, which I have a link to that, their whole YouTube channel. It's a pretty dope series. They made a whole video series on YouTube way back in the day. I think that was 2007 or 2012. I think that was 2012. Got to go check it out. It was a pretty good series. I got a cough. Oh, geez. Woo! Almost blew an O-ring there. Okay. So, yeah, this one is opposite, though, where people started writing stories about the rake, and then this image popped up, and people were like, oh, that's the rake. We claim that. That's ours. So, where did I stop? Shit. Okay, the association of the image with the character can most likely be attributed to the face that the image itself appeared in the same... The face... I think they meant the fact. The fact that the image itself appeared in the same month as a single topic blog Tumblr account, hoping to gather together all of the fan art, copypasta, and sighting reports into one place, with fans of the rake story or those encountering it for the first time conflating the image with the story in an association that would continue to the present day. Interesting. Okay, well, that's kind of cool. There you go. So, yeah, creepypasta, this is the creepypasta. That's the original where the rake comes from. But still, if you look it up, the rake is very closely associated with Arizona, and it's most closely associated with the Grand Canyon. So I do this every time. I do my 50 states of cryptids and my 50 states of myths and legends. I go through the state and make a little marker where all either the sightings for the creature, if they have any, like the rake doesn't have any. No, I couldn't find anybody telling me where they'd seen the rake in Arizona except for the Grand Canyon. So the Grand Canyon is supposedly where the rake seems to come up the most. And in this general area, right? Yeah, Phoenix. Yeah, I used to live right in this little area right here. It was a lot of fun. That was a really good time. Good days. So Grand Canyon, It's a big-ass canyon. There's a lot going on there, right? But we'll still put a little thingy-jigger here. Let's see. Where's the little save? Save. Save to starred places. No, that's not what I wanted. How did I... Okay, hold on. You're going to have to chill for a sec. Saved. New list. This is Arizona spooky sites. Okay. Arizona spooky sites at a place. Grand Canyon, Arizona. Right there. Okay. So you can see if we go back to my lists, I said to my list. It's not listening. Okay. Here we go. See, we got Alaska spooky spots. That's what all these right here are all of the spots. Coldfoot, King Islands. This is where a bunch of cryptids have been spotted in Alaska. And then UFO base under Mount Hayes, which that's in, all of this is in my Alaska cryptid videos and my Alaska Myths and Legend video. That's all on my channel. Not Mount Hayes, because fucking History Channel fuckers copyright struck my whole section of that video that was about aliens under Mount Hayes. And so, I mean, because it was their video that I showed and they didn't want me to show it. So, I mean, it is what it is. I give them shit about it, but, you know, what are you going to do? And so, yeah, but so you won't see that in the video. But all the rest of this, the Devils of Thomas Bay, Ilomnia Lake Monster, right? That's all in the cryptid video. And then I thought I saved the ones in Alabama, and it turns out that I hadn't, so I got to go back and redo Alabama. And then we're on Arizona. Where's my Arizona spooky spaces? Okay, right here. So there's the Grand Canyon. There's our first spooky spot in Arizona is going to be in the Grand Canyon. Just because when I researched the Rake, that's the spot that everybody talks about. The Rake is in the Grand Canyon, right? So if you're out there hanging out with your friends, taking a trip, I went to the Grand Canyon once. We took a helicopter over there, I think from like Nevada, from like Las Vegas, I think. Is that even a thing? Is that possible? Do I remember this correctly? I don't know. I think so. I thought that's what happened. I guess I was a kid, and I thought we took a helicopter ride from Las Vegas to the Grand Canyon, and then we ate ham and cheese sandwiches, which, it was a ham and cheese sandwich, so it was fine. It was good. I'm not going to dog on a ham and cheese sandwich. But, it was in the Grand Canyon, which was nice. It was very pretty there. Didn't see no rakes, though. So if you're ever in the Grand Canyon and you're eating a ham and cheese sandwich, keep them eyes out for that rake so they don't steal your sandwich. Okay, now we're going to move to this fucking guy, Bigfoot Society. Let's pop back over to the YouTube screen. And his video, which is called 50 States of Cryptids, this fucking guy. I can't say he stole it from me, though, because this was a year ago. Oh, arm crap, balls, shit balls. Oh. Okay, woo, we're good. Let's go back over here. I just got back into my second bulk, so I'm bulking. I'm getting nice and big and fat and muscular, and I had my bicep and forearm workout today. And so I forget, it's been so long since I've done like a heavy bicep and forearm workout. The whole next 2 days, my shit's going to be cramping up. So all I got to do, if I pick my nose wrong, my arms are like, blah, and they just fucking cramp up just to fuck with me. So, okay, anyways, that's what's happening there. If I scream uncontrollably for a minute, that's what's happening, more than likely. So, okay, Bigfoot Society and his 50 States of Cryptids, this fucking guy totally stole my shit. Nah, he didn't. I didn't steal it from him neither. I want to put that there. But, let's give him a like. He's a bit of a smaller channel. I mean, he's a lot bigger than me, 70,000 subscribers. But still, let's check his video out. And if it's good, subscribe to his shit. Give him a like. Go check him out, man. This is the Reptoid. Ooh, okay. The Reptoid. Okay, check it out. Let's see what Mr. Bigfoot Society has to say about the Reptoid.
50 States of Cryptids, Arizona. Reptoids. 5 miles east of Phoenix, Arizona, in the Superstition Mountains, could there be reptilian cryptids living there? Let's find out. There are sightings from hikers of lizard beings being seen in this area of the Superstition Mountains about the size of a man with bat-like wings and a tail. Supposedly, they fly out to openings in the cliff at twilight and also vanish if they sense that they are being watched. Allegedly, Native Americans in the areas have legends of these creatures that span back hundreds of years. One account tells of a hiker that was approached by a man coming towards him on the trail, and then he noticed that the eyes of the man were slits.
Ooh.
The man had a stunning...
He could have just been really stoned. That's always a possibility.
...headache, and the creature quickly disappeared. What do you think?
Oh, if it looks anything like that, fuck that. Okay. And sure, fine. You know what? Bigfoot Society, I'm subscribing. You got it.
That's right. Another TikTok prankster is
this guy, Penguin Zero. Okay, so that's Reptoid, right? Pretty self-explanatory. He's a reptilian humanoid, hence Reptoid. And there is not a lot of information about the Reptoid, unfortunately. Everything I looked at, every list, right, like this list, check it out. This is a list of 9 cryptid monsters of Arizona, right? Oop, that's a burp. Hold on. My cutie pie gives me shit because I never go back to the screen with me on it, and she doesn't like that. So, oh, see, there's the rake, right? Let's see what they have to say. Peach Springs, making its home in the Grand Canyon caverns near Peach Springs, Arizona. Okay, so that's where they say the rake is. And yada yada. And sightings and encounters with the rake have allegedly been reported since the 1800s. Several diaries and journal entries have been found which document the horrifying attacks. One of the stranger characteristics is its ability to shut off electricity. This is the rake again. I'm going back. We're doubling back, so stay with me. Peach Springs has suffered such strange power outages recently, even when the weather was calm. A bar owner named Brian related that he closed his bar early at 2 a.m. due to strange power outages. Hearing a commotion near the garbage, Brian looked over and was surprised to see a grayish humanoid figure that he described as definitely not human. That's one of those fentanyl junkies. That's what that is. A former gravedigger named Jeremy related seeing a gray-white humanoid figure dart by as he was working on it at his old job at the Peach Springs Cemetery. And one can rent the Grand Canyon Caverns for the night. There are hotel accommodations. Okay, Grand Canyon Caverns. Let's redo our list a little bit here. Can we edit this? Edit list, yes. Take the Grand Canyon off. And let's go to Grand Canyon Caverns. Okay. Grand Canyon Caverns, where is this at? There's a Grand Canyon Caverns campgrounds. We want to make sure it's next to the city. Aha, Peach Springs. There it is. Okay. This is where we want to be right here. Okay, let's save this. How do I do that? Yeah, that one, sure. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. And Arizona Spooky Sites. Sweet. Okay. So we got that one saved and a better place now. Peach Springs is where they say the rake is. And that was way off from where I had it, right? Yeah. I think we're upwards in this area. You went up there, you would see no rake. No rakes for you. Now you get a better chance of seeing the rake and getting to taste this protozoa if you go to Peach Springs. So the Reptoid is another one where you get a whole bunch of people on the internet talking about it, you know, but nobody is writing any articles on it. There's very few videos on it, you know, hence why we got only the 2-minute video was all I had, you know. So not a lot of information on the Reptoid, although it's said to be a very common cryptid in Arizona, so take for it what you will. In early February 2014, a group of 3 bikers saw a reptilian humanoid in the Sonoran Desert. It's about 6 foot tall, very, very skinny, and it had an awkward gait, like a monkey, one witness said. He stopped and made eye contact with me, and I could see him clearly. The eyes were kind of like a snake's, but black, and with a yellow stripe in the middle of the eye. It had green and red scales on the face and head. The red color was kind of like the same as the desert sand there. And it looked like it had a sandy texture, too. It didn't have a nose, only 2 holes on it. I couldn't see any ears or hair. A red mouth that looked like it had blood around it, but it didn't look like it was bleeding. Cough. Didn't look like it was bleeding. It looked like a pattern. It reminded me of a chameleon, but it looked like a person, too. The creature raised its long arms with strange-looking claws that looked like a branch full of thorns and waved at them, emitting a loud chattering sound with its teeth. Then it rapidly ran away, leaving the trio in shock. So that is the Reptoid. Let's just pop up, y'all, and look for Reptoid encounters. That's how you spell Reptoid. Yeah. That's how you spell it. Reptoid encounters. We should probably put Arizona. Creature cryptid sightings. Aliens in Arizona. Nope. Phoenix Herpetological Sanctuary for reptiles. Jungle Jill's animal encounters. These are all Ghost Ranch exotics. Oh, okay. You actually gonna be... Oh, they got capybaras there. Oh, shit. Okay, we got to take just a slight detour, all right? I know you guys are here for the spooky shit, but they got capybaras, y'all. Come on. That's got to be fun. Ghost Ranch Exotics. I might have to put that on the Arizona map just so I can go, in between chasing down all these scary-ass creatures, I can go pet some fucking capybaras, man. Who doesn't want to do that? Any cryptid stories? Let's check this out. See, this is what you mostly get. When you're researching Reptoid, Google just fills it in, and they're like, he didn't really mean that, because he's not a fucking idiot that researches reptoids and shit. He meant reptile. Google has more respect for me than it probably should. The monster, I think that's the Magawan monster, I think is how you pronounce that. We'll get into that in a minute. And Woody Mountain Road. What's this? See ArizonaParanormal.com. Oh, forbidden. You can't be here. Thou shalt not pass. Okay. Yeah, no Reptoid. Just this fucking guy. And what did he say? Where did Jeremy Byron say the... No. Get out my face.
Arizona, Reptoids. 5 miles east of Phoenix, Arizona, in the Superstition Mountains. Could there be
Superstition Mountains. Okay. There's a lot in the Superstition Mountains. They're not called the Superstition Mountains for no reason. I'll tell you that. Where are the Superstition Mountains? Let's check this out. Do a little sleuthing. Okay. Oh, wow. That Apache Junction, Mesa, Scottsdale, Tempe. So I lived right over here near Frank's Hot Dogs. Let's see if Frank's Hot Dogs is there. Let's take a break from the lizard people. See if Frank's Hot Dogs is still a thing. See Clark, Daly, McClintock. Okay. We're closing in. I lived right off Broadway. All right. So we got Broadway, Tempa Vista, Frank's Hot Dogs, you guys. You really gotta, if you're ever in Phoenix, you need to check out Frank's Hot Dogs. I think it's called Frank's Hot Dogs. Frank's Hot Dogs, yeah. Where is this? This can't be in the right spot. This is in Buffalo, New York. It's the same place, but we want it in Arizona. I know because I had a friend from Buffalo, and he said Frank's Hot Dogs is also in Arizona. He lived in Arizona, too. Frank's Gourmet Hot Dogs in Arizona. No. Is it Frank's Famous Hot Dogs? Hot Dogs, Arizona. I want hot dogs in Arizona. Where do I go? Here we go. I do need to put this on the list, because if I'm going to go look at some freaky... Oh, it's Ted's! Oh! Well, fuck me. I knew it was like some middle-aged white guys, man. Ted's. Ted's Hot Dogs. This place is amazing, you guys. Ooh, fuck Frank, fuck Mickey over here. You don't need none of their dogs. You just want Ted's Hot Dogs, man. This is the shit right here. They like cook their hot dogs on this grill till it's like black and ready to explode. And that doesn't sound appetizing. I'm not selling it. I know. It's amazing, though. They're like super crunchy and juicy. Best hot dogs ever. So, okay. Superstition Mountains is over, y'all. That's getting, it's kind of big, too. There's a lot of mountains in the Superstition Mountains, okay? We might have to, it's just a picture. We might have to do a little more sleuthing in order to get a triangulation on the Reptoid. Reptoid, Arizona. Large lizard. No. Lizard. Yeah, see, this is all I get. The Reptoid cryptid in Arizona. Oh, here we go. We love creepy stories. Absolutely, man. Tales from Shadowlands. Okay. Giving them a like. They only got 6 likes. I don't know if their video's any good, but giving them a like just in case.
Out of the 6 natural forests, Tonto is the largest one. The woodland stretches over 4,400 miles.
Okay, I'm not going to do that for 10 minutes. Still give them a like, but... Okay, we might have to put a pin in Reptoid, man. Call that good. Reptoid aliens. No, we don't need that. Okay, well, we're going to put a pin in Reptoid because that one's a little bit difficult to research, find. And we got to move on. We got other creepy-ass things to look at, so let's go look at them, okay? Next one up, I actually have categorized under bat creatures because there's a few different bat creatures in Arizona. I guess, you know, it makes sense, right? All it is caves and deserts and shit. You know, what else is going to be out there except for a fuck ton of, like, Gila monsters and bats, right? I was blown away that they didn't have, like, a Gila monster man, you know what I mean? Or, like, a giant Gila monster or anything like that. What they did have, though, they didn't have none of that. But they do have the Alatoa, the Alatoa, the Alatau. We're going to say Alatau. Alatau, this guy. How did I do that again? Control. Oh, look at that. Killing it. Does this make it bigger? It says reset. Oh, okay. Well, that's a bit of a bummer. I can't pull out the edges. Nope. Okay, well, you can see big old bat. Big old bat. That's a big-ass bat. You see, here's normal dudes, big-ass bat, right? That thing will take your head off. Okay, the Alatau. The Alatau was a cryptid giant bat first reported from the Asumbo Mountains of Cameroon. And that's in Africa. That's a pretty far ways away from Arizona, y'all. Best known from a sighting made by Ivan Sanderson and Gerard Russell. It has sometimes been equated with the Kongamado. Okay. Alatau is an Ipulo word and is possibly a transcription of Al Nitaya, cloven or fort, which is the name of a dance mask with horns that is used to represent a demon. Bernard Hovelmans argues that the name Alatau may not be the native term for the bat itself, as the locals could have misinterpreted Sanderson's descriptions as that of a devil. But as it is the only term known, it is the one used in cryptozoological literature. James Powell's mention of the term to people in the area failed to elicit a response, though he admitted that he may have been pronouncing it wrong. Well, that doesn't help anything, James. Fuck. You know, I can afford to look like an asshole trying to say all these silly words, right? Like, I can afford to be like, what the fuck is a protozoar? You know, because I'm on Twitter or I'm on Twitch. Nobody expects me to be very intelligent. So I don't have a high bar that I need to meet. Not a huge standard there. But James, you're a cryptozoologist. You have an ist at the end of your title. You're supposed to be smart and shit. Ivan Sanderson and Gerard Russell claimed to have seen an Olitau in 1932 when they were leading the Percy Sladen expedition to West Africa. Their sighting was first published in Sanderson's book Animal Treasure in 1937. Jorgen Burkett Smith, a comparative anatomist at the University of Copenhagen who had traveled in Cameroon and the Republic of the Congo, told Roy Mackall that he had met others in Cameroon who believed in the giant bat, including a school teacher who claimed to have seen it. Sanderson described the Olitau, which he only saw briefly, as entirely black and about the size of an eagle, with a semicircle of pointed white teeth, set about the own width apart from each other. These teeth were described as chattering. After the sighting, both Sanderson and Gerard Russell agreed that the animal had a wingspan of at least 12 feet. Woo! Wow. And is that feet or inches? What's the 1 comma? I'm pretty sure it's feet. 1 comma... It's a feet. 12 feet. Wow, that's a big ass fucking bat. Sanderson later added that the bat's head was monkey-like rather than dog-like and was not pointed. Yeah, that is one thing about bats. If y'all haven't looked up pictures of bats, they're so fucking cute. They're like little dogs with wings. Cute bat pictures. Not when they're with a 12-foot wingspan. Look at that. Don't tell me that isn't cute. It's adorable. That's so fucking cute. Look at those goofy ass eyes. I think that's the video where they feed him a banana and he loved the shit out of that banana. I think it's a fruit bat. Look at that. That's so sweet. That's so adorable looking. It's just a bat with hairy wings, you know. Come on, you can't be scared of that. Look at it's a little burrito. It's a little bat burrito. That's so cute. You can't say no to the bat burrito. Okay, so yeah, bats are adorable. Just had to point that out. They're like dogs with wings. That's all they are. Sightings. In 1932, Sanderson allegedly saw an Olitau in 1932. It appeared to him and Gerard Russell, who were wading through a shallow river in the Asumbo Mountains in the north of Momfray after they stopped to retrieve a hammer-headed bat they had shot. Oh, well, they killed one, and then this big bat was like, fuck y'all, that was my cousin Jim. Sanderson stepped on something that moved, possibly a tortoise, and lost his balance. When he recovered, Russell shouted, "Look out!" And I looked. This is his retelling, okay? And I looked. Then I let out a shout also and instantly bobbed down under the water, because coming straight at me, only a few feet above the water, was a black thing the size of an eagle. I had only a glimpse of its face, yet that was quite sufficient, for its lower jaw hung open and bore a semicircle of pointed white teeth set about their own width apart from each other. When I emerged, it was gone. George was facing the other way, blazing off his second barrel. I arrived, dripping on my rock, and we looked at each other. "Will it come back?" we chorused. And just before it became too dark to see, it came back again, hurtling back down the river, its teeth chattering, the air shaking as it was cleft by the great black Dracula-like wings. We were both off guard. My gun was unloaded, and the brute made straight for George. He ducked. The animal soared over him and was at once swallowed up in the night. When they returned to their camp, they encountered several local hunters who had come to sell them animals. Sanderson told these people about his encounter, and they told him he had seen an Olitau, a very feared animal. The hunters then fled from the camp. When they returned the following day, and Sanderson and Russell refused to move on, they became sullen. They were bummed out. They were like, "Oh, you fucking white guys just want to hang out and fucking assholes." Both men kept detailed diaries while in Africa, and when Sanderson consulted Russell on the sighting in 1970, he found that both their accounts matched, in memory and in writing. Sanderson subsequently included another account of the sighting in Investigating the Unexplained in 1972, which, it's the same thing told twice. So, some theories on the Olitau. Sanderson believed the animal he saw was a bat, and most immediately obvious identity would be a bat of the order Megachiroptera, which are their largest bats. I think those are the fruit bats. We'll see. They possess the very widely spaced teeth noted by Sanderson and do have a habit of dipping into the water for unknown reasons. As described by Sanderson's, the Olitau was far larger than any known African bat of either order, but Bernard Hovelman strongly questioned Sanderson's estimation of its size. Well, yeah, he was freaked out, it was coming straight for his fucking head. What do you want him to do? Take out a fucking measuring tape? Whip out his dick, say, well, how does it, no, man, hide. A hammer-headed bat, which Sanderson and Russell had just shot, is the largest African bat of that order, with a wingspan of up to 3 feet. Hammer-headed bats are usually regarded as gentle and harmless, but as Sanderson had just shot one, Hovelmans and Roy Mackle suggested that the Olatau may have been a grieving parent or a mate attacking in anger. Sure, they get pissed too, you know. He shot his girl, man. He's pissed. He's gonna take off your head. Hammer-headed bats have also been observed habitually preying on captive chickens and scavenging the carcasses of other birds, and are demonized as bloodsuckers in parts of Africa. However, Hovelmans also noted that all African flying foxes are brown or yellowish in color, while the Olatau was reported to be all black. While it could have been melanistic, an oversized and melanistic individual being seen would be an extreme coincidence, and Hovelmans questions why naturalists like Sanderson and Russell would fail to identify even a melanistic individual immediately after shooting a normal specimen. Ah, good point, good point. More seriously, the horse-like head of the hammer-headed bat is at odds with Sanderson's description of the Olatau's monkey face. The only carnivorous bats are those in the order Microchiroptera, which are often smaller than megabats, while this is not always the case. In Africa itself, large bats are gentle, and only smaller bats are actively carnivorous. Some of these small carnivorous bats are also bold and aggressive, attacking birds and other bats, and could feasibly attack a human. Ooh, Carl Schucker. If you know anything from our past cryptid videos, Carl Schucker, he's all up in it. Famous cryptozoologist. In light of its appearance and behavior, Carl Schucker and Sanderson himself suggested the Olatau could have been an undiscovered giant bat of the Microchiroptera suborder. Hovelmans observed its similarity to bats in the family Mollucidae, which have monkey-like faces and in some cases little hair, and concluded that it may have been an unknown giant species in that family. It would be the largest bat in Africa. Yeah, with 12 feet wingspan, shit, I hope it's the largest. So there you have it. That's the Olatau from Africa. Like I said, we're talking about Arizona cryptids, right? We're ways away from getting to Africa. I'll at some point when I run out of states, and we'll go to Canada, maybe see what crazy shit they got up there. I'm sure they got to have all kinds of crazy shit up there. And then we'll hit South America. Then we'll kind of like work our way across the globe, but we're far away from hitting Cameroon. So let's talk about the Olatau in Arizona. Although few have ever heard of the Olatau, it has been spotted all over the world, including the Amazon rainforest. Interesting. And they do have a citation here. Citations are always good at number 13. Citation 13, where are you at? Here it is. I'm pretty sure this doesn't go to anything. Yep. No link for that one. Bummer. Bum-R. Shoot. What do we... Get out my face. Okay. Let's go back to where was the Olatau? There you are. Okay. The only known sighting of the Olatau by a scientist occurred in 1932 by famed explorer and cryptozoologist Ivan Sanderson in Cameroon, Africa. While exploring a river system in the Asumbo Mountains, Sanderson almost got his head off taken by one. Yep. Described as a giant avian creature with a wingspan between 10 to 12 feet in length, this king of the bats is reportedly most active in the twilight hours and lives in caves and volcanic lava tubes. In northern Arizona, this fearsome killer purportedly lives in the lava tubes surrounding Humphreys Peak near Flagstaff. Ooh, okay, so we got something to a dot for the map. Good. One recent witness named Angela saw the Olatau while driving through Oak Creek Canyon on State Route 89A. We got another little spot to put on the map. Sweet. When the beast noticed her, it took off into the air and disappeared. Another recent witness is a veterinary assistant named Addison. Angela. Okay, I thought they both had the same name. I was like, what are the odds? Addison, who described a local pet that was brought in. It looked like it had been dropped from several hundred feet far away from any height. Could it have been dropped by an Olatau? Seems like a pretty massive stretch, but okay. Let's see. What are we? Oh, cute little baby bats. I could just do a whole stream on cute little baby bats. I don't do my Wildlife Wednesday streams, though. No more, because none of y'all like them. It's just me alone by myself looking up cute pictures of animal, and y'all just fuck off and do something else. But I could do a whole stream just looking at cute pictures of baby bats, because they're adorable. But let's put some, let's not do that. And instead, let's put some little thingy jiggers down on our map. Okay, Humphrey Peak near Flagstaff. Okay, Humphreys Peak. Humphreys Peak. Here we are. Let's make sure we're near Flagstaff. Oh, the Snow Bowl. Okay, I know where that's at. That's where you can go snowboarding in Arizona. I bet you didn't know that was a thing. I was blown away when I went to Arizona, and they're like, you all want to go snowboarding? It's like, what? In Arizona? That's not a fucking thing. Turns out I was wrong. It is definitely a thing. Okay, so Humphreys Peak. Let's save this bitch to Arizona Spooky Sites. And then where the other sighting was Oak Creek Canyon on State Route 89A. Okay. So Oak Creek Canyon, let's check it out. Oak Creek Canyon right here. And that was 89A. So right in this area, right here. Okay, next to Garland's Jewelry. Great. So you can see yourself a giant bat, buy your woman something nice. Awesome. Cutie Pie will like hitting that up. Okay, so I believe, yeah, so that's the majority of what I have found on the Olatau. But there is a video that I'm not going to purchase, and so we're not going to watch on YouTube. Monsters Underground, the very first episode of season 1 is about the volcanic cavern Olatau in the maze that is Flagstaff, Arizona Volcano Caverns. Bill Brock and his team believe there is a giant, deadly reptilian bat creature known as the Olatau. So, you can go check that out on YouTube. How much does this cost? Do they tell you? Where's the monies you want for this? Oh, it's only $1, $2. So, that's not bad. $2 to watch. So, you can go check that out on YouTube. The link will be in the description to the video. So, if you want to hear more on the Olatau, check that out. Okay, and then we also have, still continuing with the bat creatures. We're still on bat creatures now. All right. We have the yo-yo. The yo-yo. Easier to pronounce, this one. Yo-yo is the nickname of a Mothman-like creature, which is said to live in eastern Arizona, specifically in Nogales, Show Low, Springerville, and St. John's. In usual sightings, it is seen inspecting or eating an animal's carcass. Oh, that's friendly. It is usually described as about 6 feet tall, large red eyes, and bat wings. It has gray, leathery skin and long claws. Ancient Indian legend. In 1961, in Rio Puerco Valley, I'm pretty sure I'm saying that right, Rio Puerco Valley, a team excavated pieces of pottery dating back to 1350 with paintings of a Mothman-like being on it. A Hopi legend claims that a Mothman-like creature plagued the tribe for years, only to be banished by performing a special ritual. The creature was described to be tall and humanoid with pinkish skin. Ooh, and that's all they got on... Well, listen here, shithead. What was that about? Just kick me right out. You're done. Okay, let's go back. Doop-doop-a-doo. Arizona Cryptids. What were we on? We were on the yo-yo. Oh. Yo, Norton, I tell you, I pay you people for shit, and all you do is tell me where I can't go. Okay, so the yo-yo. Nogales, Show Low, Springerville, and St. John's is where it's at. In the Rio Puerco Valley. Rio Puerco. Okay, we'll keep that webpage open for now, because I believe, no, this is all we got for the yo-yo. Because, yeah, again, same thing. Yo-yo is on everybody's list of famous cryptids, and ain't nobody got nothing about it. There's no, we'll look. Let's look. I'll prove it to you, so y'all know I ain't lying and shit. Y'all looking at me funny. Yo-yo creature, Arizona. Right. So, Arizona Cryptids, orangutan. This is about an orangutan meets a 13-year-old yo-yo master. I'm the yo-yo master. Chandler boy to test his skills in international yo-yo competition. Yeah, when you name your damn cryptids shit like yo-yo, it's so hard to find videos for it, because all I end up getting is videos of 13-year-old kids at yo-yo competitions. That's what I get. Strange creature at Arizona Beach. Okay. Cartoon girl yo-yo. She did what to her face? I don't know what it has to do with anything. She became the urban legend of the yo-yo? What? Okay, hold on.
Once there was a girl who was always getting bullied in school. She'd often watch everyone else play on the playground while she was left alone. So to pass the time, she began drawing. But soon watching all her classmates ignore her every day made her angry. So she took one of her drawings and turned it into a face mask. It was a drawing of a yellow bear. Then she headed to the playground to take her revenge. It's rumored that this girl was so angry that she unalived her entire class in a fit of rage. And what she did changed her. The drawing that she used as a mask was now fused into her face. So she ran away from home and became the urban legend of yo-yo. She finds her victims in places like schools and playgrounds. Some even believe that the human part of her still exists, meaning that she does have the ability to feel guilt. And that's why she almost always hides her hands. Follow for more.
Her hands?
Most terrifying.
Well, that was creepier than anything we've seen about the yo-yo in Arizona, that's for sure. Yeah, see, so you see what I'm working with here, right? No yo-yos. Yo-yo creature, Arizona, nada. Nothing. Nada. Yo-yo monsters. Let's see what pops up then. And it's just about a fucking yo-yo called the Yo-Yo Factory Monster. There it is. There's your Yo-Yo Factory Monster in case you're on the market for a new yo-yo. I don't know if any of the kids even know what the fuck a yo-yo is. I'm sure there's got to be some young person watching right now that's like, is that the thing with the string? Like, I can't believe you played with that. They look at you like you're just hitting a ball with a stick, you know? Like, why would you do that? Okay, let's look at the places where they say the yo-yo is. And then we'll move on to our next cryptids. But first, Nogales. Where are you, Nogales? Okay, so there's Nogales. You know, I love Arizona because everything is like in a box. It's like blocks. Even the highways, the whole city of Phoenix is just a grid. And it's so easy to find your way around. Oh, it's on like the border. Look at that. Wow. Okay. So Nogales is one place where you're going to see the yo-yo. Wait. Sholo. Okay. So just keep that in mind, right? Making mental note of that. Sholo, Arizona, right? Yep. This is Sholo, Arizona, right? Yeah. Oh, wow. That's far away from Nogales. Okay. So you got two different places, Nogales and Sholo. Springerville. Okay. Springerville, Arizona. I am not familiar with any of these places. Ah, here's Springerville. That looked a little bit closer to Sholo. Right? Where was Sholo? There's Sholo next to White Mountain Lake. And then here's the Springerville. Right on the border, right? That's kind of close. Yeah, they're both close to the edge of New Mexico. New Mexico. Okay. And St. John's. St. Jonathan. And okay, so that's close to. There's the White Mountain Lake again. There's Sholo, Springerville. So all in this area right here is the. Where was it? Here, I'm clicking on Sholo. How big was that? It doesn't give us statistics on like how many people live there and shit. It gives us the elevation. Okay, 11,000 people in Sholo. Teeny little baby towns. This is 3,000 people, so teeny little baby town, and then Springerville, which was 1,900 people. So teeny little baby town. You're just a tiny ass little town. I guess that's a section of a bigger town, it looks like. But I'm going to put Sholo because it's a bigger town. Probably have better restaurants there. So Sholo, Arizona spooky sites. Okay. So we got that saved. And that is the yo-yo, which was our second bat-like creature on my list of bat-like creatures. You can't see the note card, so I don't know why I show it to you. But we have the Olatau and the yo-yo, and there's a third one called the Aswang that we're not going to talk about, because we're going to talk about the Aswang when we do my Arizona Myths and Legends here in 2 weeks. We'll be doing that stream. So you have to come back for the Aswang, because there's a whole legend behind that guy. Okay, they got a whole myth legend, which is why it's on my Arizona Myths and Legends episode. So let's look at our map, though. Where are we at here? Where are we at? We got... Oh, what's with all the roads and shit? Chill. I don't want all this blue shit on my map. Looks like varicose veins. Whoa. What? Come on. What happened? Okay. How do I get this blue shit off of my map? Street view? No, I don't want that. Okay, thank you. So we have... Here's the Sholo, which is the yo-yo. I just put that together. The yo-yo and Sholo. That's great. Flagstaff, which was where the Olatau is. This is the Grand Canyon area where the Rake is. And then Reptoid in Oak Creek Canyon. Right? Oh, no. That was... Was that? No, that was also the Olatau. So 2 Olatau spots. Spot for the yo-yo and a spot for the Rake. Okay, cool. So we're going to move on to the Devil Monkeys. Okay, and we got a video here. This is... Here, let's move over to the YouTube screen. Here we are. And what is the channel? This is William DeFalco. Smaller channel, only 38 subscribers, so give this dude a like. We're not going to watch the full 15 minutes of this video. We'll hit like half of it, right? Maybe like a quarter. We'll hit a third. We'll 16 minutes roughly. We'll hit a third. Oh, I got a cough. Oh, something caught my throat. So we'll watch a quarter, a third, and if it's any good, then I'll always have this linked in the description, whether it's good or not. But if it is good, then you can check the rest of the video out on your own time. Give this guy a little bit of love. So check it out. Here is the Devil Monkeys, the fearsome baboon cryptids of Flagstaff, Arizona.
Hello everybody, this is Fernando for the latest Cryptids and Monsters video. Another entry here, this one again based on your suggestions. This one I have seen suggested before in the past, multiple times in fact, and I just never really got around to it because looking outside, to me it just looked like the tails of a regular monkey. Like whatever the encounters were, it just seemed like it wasn't really that fantastical. But once I took a little bit more of a peek into it this go around, I saw that there were actually some really interesting encounters to talk about, and that's what basically sold me on talking it and sharing with you here.
Fuck yeah,
This
Fernando,
particular
let's
creature,
do it.
It's another one of those things where it seems like it's not really a cryptid. It's more along the lines of an animal of sorts that
That's
is
what a
just a
cryptid
natural
is.
byproduct of nature itself. It just hasn't really been encountered.
I'm not sure what this guy thinks a cryptid is, but all that means is hidden animals. That's what cryptozoology means, is the study of hidden animals, right? So, Fernando, you need to look your shit up.
So, yet again, it's another one of those things where it's not something that has, let's say, like 4 eyes bugging out somewhere, or multiple legs in different areas, like some of the usual cryptids we talk about. But no, just something that it's in nature that hasn't really been discovered yet, in the sense that it's been analyzed and
he is describing cryptids to the T.
Photographed and evidence gathered to the point that it's an actual species. But it does have a very unique name, which definitely stands out. And it has to do with the cryptid known as the Devil Monkey, which you're looking at a picture of here. And the tales that are tied to this creature and the encounters with it, they are horrible. They are horrendous.
Jeez.
One can imagine something like this chasing you or coming straight at you, even
Well,
when
it depends on how small it is, right? You know what I mean? Like, it might look menacing, but if it's like Chihuahua sized, I mean, I'm kicking it. I don't care. Let's look up, but if it's finger monkey size, right here, check it out. Look at that. That's so cute. It's almost as cute as the bats. Not quite. Not quite as cute as the bats. Look at there you go. Is that a real one? I don't know. All these fucking AI shit and fake shit. Everybody's just doing fake shit nowadays. That's how I'm pretty sure that's real. Look at that guy. It's just a fucking figure. That's so cute. Right? If it's that big, right? I don't care how menacing it looks. If it's that big, I'm taking it home. So, okay. Back to Fernando. What do you have to say? And he said his name was Fernando. Wasn't this called William DeFalco, right? But all right. Changed his name to Fernando.
Apparently, according to the tales, when you're in a car, this is a creature that is not to be messed with. It has extreme encounters with people, dangerous encounters.
Ooh.
Not only that, but also apparently with animals too. So I'm going to talk about that here in a few minutes.
Yeah, so if they're calling it dangerous, I'm going to go on a limb and say it's probably not a finger monkey. So, what a bummer.
First off, what is it exactly? Just as I mentioned,
Ooh.
it seems to be like a long lost, undiscovered form of monkey or some kind of primate of sorts that has the distinction of living here in the United States. In particular, it seems to have a fondness for wooded areas in Arizona, as well as areas of the desert in New Mexico, Utah, and Colorado. So it has been reported and sightings have been linked to this creature in all across those locations. It seems like though its most favorite area is the areas near Flagstaff, Arizona, which I have been to in the past once. So it was quite fascinating to have been there.
Flagstaff is pretty cool. That is a dope little city. Big fan of Flagstaff.
Not knowing any of this information beforehand and not realizing that it's actually a location that this creature is most, I guess, sighted
wow,
at. So
that
if you
is
happen to
definitely not a finger monkey. That's a big motherfucker. Yeah, screw that. If that's like an actual size comparison, nuh-uh. I am tripping the person next to me and running.
Be near Flagstaff, Arizona, to be on the lookout for something like this in the future. Now, as far as what it is exactly, it seems to be most likely a baboon creature of some sort. There's probably like 75% there. And the reason why I mention it is because it does have its own unique characteristics that separate it from the baboon.
Hit us up, Fernando. What are they?
That we know of. For starters, it seems to be much larger than your average baboon because people have described it as being as tall as 4 or 5 feet. So that's much larger than your average baboon. And then in some cases, it seems to reach a height of 7 feet as well. And then also, unlike a baboon, this particular creature has been described as perfectly walking on its hind legs. So it has no issues with walking essentially like a human being, and in some cases running like a human being. But it can also do multiple forms of running. It'll run exactly like a dog would on all 4 legs as well. So it has the unique distinction of being able to, I guess, switch between those 2 forms altogether. As far as its look, it has a pretty hairy, I guess, set of fur covering it entirely. Some people have reported it being
a pretty hairy set of fur. Well, Fernando, yep, fur is hairy. I concur. Okay, we're going to give this guy a subscribe because, yeah, I like it. He's a good narrator, doing a good job. Fernando here, show him some love.
Short-haired, other as being much longer-haired. It seems to actually also have been described, and this is probably what's considered its most unique feature. It has some very, very strong muscular legs, almost to the point that it's been confused as being a kangaroo in the far distance. I was reading this throughout several websites, and I was fascinated to see that multiple people were stating this. Apparently, if you see this creature, this devil monkey, from a distance, its legs are so thick and so powerful that when it's resting, let's say, upright on its legs, it looks actually like a kangaroo. And people presumably think it is and think to themselves, you know, what the hell is a kangaroo doing over here in the U.S.? And then when
exactly
they see
what
this thing
they're
in
probably
action,
thinking.
when it actually starts running or it starts sprinting, that's when they realize that, no, they are not looking at a kangaroo. Yet its hind legs definitely make it look as such. Those legs, by the way, come into some very key areas because it can use those legs to run really, really fast. People have reported stating that it moves at lightning speed, and that it's
Lightning
able to
speed.
leap
Oh,
across
shit.
certain fields very great distances, up to 20 feet, in fact, at
Ooh.
each jumping point. That is a huge amount of distance that this thing can cover.
Yeah,
So one can
motherfucker
imagine
should try
again
out for the
that
NBA. Shit. Okay, well, that's what we're gonna watch of Fernando, also known as William, his YouTube channel. Give him a like and subscribe. Dude's doing his best. He's only got 38,000 subscribers. Decent narrator. Seems to be doing a lot of research, more research than me myself. So yeah, give him a like. We're gonna read a little bit about it though. I trust Fernando. I'm sure he's done his research. But let's read a little bit from our cryptids.fandom.com. This is a pretty good website if you want to read a little bit about cryptids. So let's check it out. The devil monkey. There have been reports of devil monkeys, which are large baboon-like primates that are now being spotted in the wooded areas near Flagstaff, Arizona. The eyewitness said that she noticed her dog was acting very agitated and scared when they were on their hike through Mount Eldon Forest Trail, when she noticed a small group of primitive-looking creatures scurrying through the rocks. She described them as 4 or 5 feet tall, very quick and agile. These creatures were called devil monkeys in other parts of the United States. Oh, okay. There have also been sightings in New Mexico, Utah, and Colorado. Well, there you have it. I wonder where Fernando heard that. Unique species of monkeys have been described as being about 3 to 4 feet tall, although some eyewitnesses have sworn that these furry friends, I don't know if that's a good word for them. That's not a good euphemism for something that can eat your face off. Furry friends, nonetheless, can reach a height that is in excess of 7 feet. It seems clear, however, that those who have had an encounter with this larger version of the beast are actually describing a run-in with a prototypical hairy humanoid and not the smaller, more primitive like devil monkey. Oh, well, of course that's what's happening there. Obviously. Duh. Oh. Have to go back to this screen. Unlike the legendary gorilla like Bigfoot or Yeti, these creatures, which have been seen through American South and Midwest and as far as north as Alaska, have been described as shaggy, canine-faced, baboon-like creatures with powerful, almost kangaroo-like legs, a trait they share with South America's notorious goat sucker, the chupacabra. Ooh, we're going to talk a little bit about that for sure. We're in Arizona. You know we got to talk about the chupa. Coincidentally, I did a whole video on Alaskan cryptids, and I didn't see no shit about no devil monkey. There was a lot about, like, there's a panther with some, like, devil-like qualities, right? I think they call it the White Death. You know, if you can see me shaking over here, I'm not doing anything disturbing. I'm just massaging my arm right here because just get the cramps out of it, because this bitch is cramping up left and right on me. Okay, other distinguishing traits that devil monkeys are said to bear include 3-toed razor-clawed feet, tiny pointed ears, and a long, often bushy tail, not unlike legends of the Rougarou of the South, werewolves, or the infamous Derrida roadkill. Derrida roadkill. Ooh, okay, sightings. This is the good stuff. Let's get ready for it. Get your popcorn. The first reported encounter with this swift, dangerous creature occurred in 1934 in South Pittsburgh, Tennessee. Oh, there's a South Pittsburgh, Tennessee. Oh, okay. We need to check on that. Excuse me here. South Pittsburgh, Tennessee. Yeah, that's a fucking thing. Okay. How close is it to me, though? Because I don't want to live near no devil monkeys, right? South Pittsburgh. Ah, it's way down by Chattanooga. Good. Okay. Well, fuck you, Chattanooga. You can take the devil monkeys. Not me. All right. Interesting. According to the reports, which are allegedly published in national newspapers, eyewitnesses described a mysterious beast that could leap across fields with lightning speed. This ability to jump great distances, up to 20 feet according to some accounts, have led some to speculate that these animals may have something in common with the kangaroos that have been seen throughout the United States for decades. What? That's a thing? Kangaroo in the U.S.? I mean, we're running, I just got to say, I'm a little disappointed in you, Fernando, because I think I'm breaking up your sources here, right? I thought you did a lot of your own research. Turns out, just saying. The suggestion is that those who think they're seeing kangaroos from a distance are, in fact, seeing devil monkeys. While these 1934 encounters may or may not be associated with this phenomenon, the first official devil monkey sighting occurred in 1959, while a couple by the name of Boyd were driving through the mountains near their home in Saltville, Virginia. According to their account, an ape-like beast attacked their car, leaving 3 scratch marks on the vehicle. The Boyd's daughter, Pauline Boyd, that's unfortunate, described the terrifying attacker. It had light, taffy-colored hair with a white blaze down its neck and underbelly. It stood on 2 large, well-muscled back legs and had shorter front legs or arms. Boyd went on to describe a second devil monkey encounter that occurred just days later in the same region. Several days after this incident, 2 nurses from the Saltville area were driving home from work one morning and were attacked by an unknown creature who ripped the convertible top from their car. Oh, yeah, that's pretty strong. Can't remember the last time I did that. Luckily, the nurses, though surely frightened out of their wits, were unharmed. In 1969, esteemed mystery ape researcher, because that's a thing, and they're esteemed, too. Look at that. John Green looked into accounts of a long-tailed monkey beast that eyewitnesses claimed was lurking near Momquam, British Columbia. This creature is said to have left a series of distinctive 3-toed tracks, much like those attributed to devil monkeys, as well as the legendary Bigfoot in its wake. In 1973, famed cryptozoologist and author Loren Coleman investigated reports of 3 black, bushy-tailed giant monkeys that were said to have slaughtered livestock in Albany, Kentucky. Coleman mentioned the event in an interview with Animal Planet. I investigated that case in depth. I interviewed the people who were very sincere. In the whole context of devil monkey reports, it seemed extremely sincere. You have these reports of hairy, monkey-like creatures with tails, very different from Bigfoot. In 1979, there was a spat of reported encounters with a bipedal monkey-like critter known as the Bigfoot, which hailed from rural depths of Georgia. Well, y'all in Georgia don't get points for creativity, I'll tell you that. One female eyewitness described it as the ugliest looking thing I'd ever seen. It had a tail like a beaver's, but it was bushy, so unlike a beaver. She also claimed it bore a face like a dog. Well, you can't call it ugly if it looks like a dog. Dogs are adorable. These traits are all known to be devil monkey characteristics. In fact, more than a few eyewitnesses have described the beast as resembling a wild dog at a distance, which suggests that this creature may employ both bipedal and quadrupedal locomotion. The depiction of the creature coincides with what some consider to be the most recent and controversial devil monkey encounter on the books to date. Ooh, let's read about it. According to the report, on January 12, 2006, an anonymous eyewitness claimed that he and his family entered their Chicago home to discover what he asserted was a devil-like creature violently attacking my 6-year-old Labrador dog. Oh no. Kill that bitch. The man further described the beast as being an unusual combination of a monkey, a wolf, and a devil, with long fangs, a monkey-like tail, and extremely bright, glowing eyes. Ooh, shit. Surprisingly, this fellow, unlike so many others who are taken aback by their first encounter with the ostensibly violent cryptid, claimed that he remained calm enough to grab a nearby camera and snap a photo of the alleged diabolical fiend. It was after the flashbulbs burst that this creature purportedly sprang to its hind legs and ran, nearly pushing over this lucky fellow and his family in an effort to escape through the open door behind them. This unnamed observer also claimed that his neighborhood had been hereafter plagued with numerous reports of missing pets, and even went so far as to state that there was an additional, as yet wholly unsubstantiated, account of yet another individual seeing an identical beast hanging from a local tree by its tail. Okay. Well, where's the picture, man? While we here at American Monster pride ourselves, okay, I was like, American Monster Pride, what is this? This is like a new extension to the LGBTQ. We pride ourselves on being champions of the bizarre rather than judges. A chore we leave up to you, dear readers. It seems fairly obvious to us that this image depicts not an unknown cryptid, but a typical canine with its eyes reflecting the camera's flash. Ooh, well, where is this? That's it? No, that's an alleged carcass. This? It doesn't tell us. Okay. By a typical canine, the Labrador, which it was supposedly attacking, does not appear in a state of distress, as one would assume it might be in such a situation. And there even seems to be an indication of a collar around this allegedly unknown animal's neck. Well, where is the picture, son? You're killing me with this. It's definitely not that. Well, shit tits, man. Well, this is the DeRitter Roadkill. Okay. So they say this looks like a hoax, right? That picture this dude supposedly snapped that they're not going to let us see looks like a hoax. While the aforementioned case may reek of a hoax, some investigators feel that there is an intriguing link between these vicious New World primates and the still controversial DeRitter roadkill photos, which appeared on the internet in 1996 and seem to depict the carcass of an unidentified baboon-like animal with canine features on a Louisiana roadside. Oh, of course it's in Louisiana. Everything shitty is in Louisiana. It's worth mentioning that in 1996, Louisiana was also the setting for another strange eyewitness report that seemed very much like the devil monkey. Okay, oh, wait, how did I do this? Control. Nice. Interesting. I don't know. How do you feel about that? I look like a dog. I don't look like no dog I've ever seen. That does look like a hairy-ass baboon. It really does. I don't know about that. That's kind of interesting. Look at that. All right. Okay. Gugwe. So Gugwe, similar to the devil monkey, much taller. Okay, interesting. Fair enough. So they have devil monkey in the Lost Tapes and in a show called These Woods Are Haunted. Interesting. Okay. Oh, are these... No, none of them. Here, let's go back. They have any of the pictures? I'm looking for this dude's picture, right? Of the shit that was attacking his dog. That's a flamingo. And now we're just getting into some random shit. That was a picture of China. Okay, so, well, there you have it. There's the eyewitness reports. Let's do a little bit of mapping on our map. After I itch my ear. So, Flagstaff and Mount Eldon Forest Trail. Okay, we can get rid of the finger monkey pictures. Flagstaff. So we know where Flagstaff is. Let's look up Mount Eldon Lookout Trail. Okay, Mount Eldon Lookout Trail. Let's just go with that because that's what's popping up. Mount Eldon Lookout Trail. Right, yeah. And that is in Flagstaff. Yeah, right next to Flagstaff. Okay. Sweet. Let's save that to Arizona Spooky Sites. And there is our devil monkey location. Let's take a look at what our map looks like now. Yeah. Okay, we're it's getting filled up a little bit here. All right. Once we do the myths and legends episode, shit will be chock full. Okay, so let's move on. That's the devil monkey. Okay, so far that's my favorite, honestly. The rake, I still don't know how that's supposedly attached to Arizona, except for some people say they've seen it, but it comes from a creepypasta, Reptoid is cool. There's just no information on it. The Olitau is cool. There's just no information on it. And the yo-yo, I mean, its name is the yo-yo. It can't be not cool, right? But devil monkeys, that's pretty dope. Okay, now we're going to move on to the first of not many, because it is Arizona, the first water cryptid. Aquatic cryptid would be the scientific term for it. The first aquatic cryptid of Arizona, skinfin. So supposedly this is a pretty famous one. Skinfin is a lake monster that is said to inhabit Lake Powell, Arizona. It is said that the creature possesses a large dorsal fin like that of a shark, a body built like an elephant, and flat wide tail of a manatee, and a head and neck like a miniature brontosaurus. Its skin is described as being a dark, oily black and smooth like that of an eel. Okay, so sightings. We'll map it here in a minute, but got a burp. That was a big ass fucking burp. You're lucky I got to the mute button. Would have blown your eardrums out. Okay. While out on the lake one day in 1958 with his father, Eric Paget was enjoying all the lake had to offer. The pair had been out water skiing and had a rather enjoyable time. Oh, good for Eric. That is until they came face to face with Skinfin. While his father pulled him behind the boat, the resident monster decided to make an appearance. A large neck and head broke the surface from below and positioned itself behind Eric. Seeing what was occurring, his father quickly turned the boat and sent Eric off to the side, away from the head of the beast and down into the water. Skinfin took notice of this as well and changed direction towards the boy. Only now it was approaching it with its mouth open and teeth showing. Oh shit. He thought, ooh, Eric looks tasty. I'm gonna get me some Eric tonight. Shit. Mr. Pageant sped up and drove the boat directly into the path of Eric, oh, good for him, and Skinfin, and made quick work of pulling his son out of the water. Oh, hooray for Dad. He didn't have to go make another Eric. As the monster approaches the boat, it dove, not drove, because monsters don't drive. It dove beneath the surface and disappeared after Eric was pulled out safely. The only thing left behind was a fast-moving wake. While most up-close encounters with these water beasts describe creatures that are more shy, standoffish, or curious, this one was very clearly aggressive. You know, it could have just been Eric. He just might not have liked Eric. Eric just might be a fucking dick, all right? And Skinfin was like, yo, fuck this dick. Possible explanations: could be a bull shark. This creature could possibly be a bull shark that had traveled to the lake, since it's said to possess a shark-like fin, which sharks have. I'd love some of this shit. Okay, bull sharks can swim up fresh water, and many bull sharks are found in lakes around North America. That is true. That would be good for a stream one day. In fact, I'm going to write that down, actually, because there's crocodigators in Colorado. I don't know if y'all heard of that shit, but it's a thing. Crocodigators in Colorado and sharks in lakes. So sharks in lakes and crocodigators in Colorado. Yeah, that's good for a stream. That's info for a new stream. Okay. So could be a bull shark. A large pike, like a northern pike? Really? Pikes can be found in Lake Powell. It's possible that it was misidentified as a lake monster. You know, if you look up, you know, I get it. For those of y'all who don't know what a pike is, you're like, what the fuck's a pike, Tony? I'll show you. Jill. Northern pike. This is what a pike is. It's a fish. Okay, that's a fish. That's a pike. Look at that. Okay, not exactly monster material, right? Look, hey, it's an ugly little shit. Yeah, okay, you know. Not the prettiest fish, and they do got a mouthful of teeth on them. They do. You know, let's look up northern pike teeth, because they got some chompers on them. Okay, that's quite overdone right there. But yeah, this is more, you know, there you go. It's got some sharp ass little chompers on it. Okay, you can see them. Not the prettiest fish you've ever seen, that's for sure. Let's look up the world record northern pike. Northern pike. Okay, well, here's some examples. Woo, that's a big ass fucking pike. Oh shit. Okay. Well, you know, depending on how big Eric is, you know, if Eric's, you know, he's a little teeny little baby boy, he's like this big, you know, he's like that, and then that's a pretty big fish. Yeah, that could eat him. I feel like that's a little bit of camera trickery there, but yeah, that's a big fish. Those are all big fish. Look at this fat ass. He probably just got done eating on Eric. Another, woof, that is a big one. Okay, well, you know, maybe, shit, I didn't know that they got that big, to be honest with you. I'm a little taken back, okay? I stand corrected. You know, somebody, if your kid is in the water, what is this? Is this a pike eating another pike is what's going on there? I'm not entirely sure, but whatever. Weird shit happens in the water. That's why I stay the fuck out of it. So, you know, wow, look at that beast. Oof. Okay, so yeah, look, you know, let's say little Eric is, you know, about yay high to this old man right here, and he's swimming in the water. Okay, we'll give him, he's up there, and this thing comes at you from Eric's point of view. That's going to look like a fucking lake monster. That's a big bitch, right? You're going to be scared. But, you know, he is looking at this like, you know, just swim really fast, son. It'll, kick it. It'll get away. You know, he's not going to be that worried about it, right? You know, I guess if you're in a lake and you see anything swimming towards your family member, you're probably going to want to play it on the safe side and assume that it's a big-ass lake monster, right? You know what I'm saying? Some of these guys are big. Wow, that's big. That's a big-ass pike, man. I did not realize that they got that fucking big. That's huge. Okay, well, you know what? Yeah, you could kind of see how maybe in the heat of the moment, somebody would think that's a big-ass lake monster, right? So, okay, fair enough. large pike, an unknown species of manatee. Manatees don't live in Lake Powell, but the lake is about 590 feet deep, so it's possible there can be an unknown similar species there. Okay. Okay. Lake Powell, that's where this is at. And let's see. Oh, we did have a video on Sinfin. Nice. Okay. But let's check out Lake Powell. Let's put that on our map real quick. Lake Powell, Arizona. Okay. What? I got a nasty human noises. Okay, well, that doesn't look like a lake. It looks like a river, if you ask me. I don't know what y'all in Arizona are smoking. Don't know the difference between rivers and lakes, apparently. But that's fine. We will call that Lake Powell, since that's what you say it is. Arizona Spooky Sites. Okay. Lake Powell is the site of Skinfin. Okay, and we have a video on it by Brittany Brer. Smaller channel, only 32,000 subscribers. So let's check this video out. Give her a like. She only got 11 likes. That's not cool. Let's give her another like. And let's check out this video. We'll probably watch the whole thing. Fuck it. Why not? 6 minutes. That's cool. You know, not doing the best on time. What else do I got left here? There's the skin fin. We might have to skip that. Of course, we got to hit the chupacabra. Then we have to hit, okay, so we do need to get through all that. Wait, what's this? What is that? Oh, yeah, we don't need to hit that. That's not a big deal. Okay, but let's check out Skinfin, all right? And we're not going to hit this. The Pine Barrens Institute cryptid profile of Skinfin, the Lake Powell monster, okay? So this is some other sightings. Oh, this is the story of Eric Paget right now, okay? And a little bit extra stuff going on here. Gives us some new info. We're not going to hit this for time's sake. What is that? I don't know what that is. It's creepy. It freaks me out. So we're not going to hit this for time's sake because I'm almost like 10 minutes away from needing to end the stream. We'll go longer, though. I ain't going to just end it on you guys without going over all the other cool shit we got. But we'll save this. This will be linked down in the comments so you can read it on your own time if the skin fin excites you, right? You can check that out. So, but let's listen to Brittany here, what she has to say about Skinfin.
Hey guys, welcome back. If you're new to my channel or simply not yet subscribed, I'm Brittany, and definitely make sure to hit the subscribe button. Freya is sitting eating next to me, so fingers crossed she does good while I'm filming.
Aww.
And with that, let's dive into our topic for today. Living deep in Lake Powell, Arizona, there is said to be a creature that is unique to itself. And this creature goes by Skinfin. It has a large dorsal fin, like a shark, a flat, wide tail of a manatee, a neck and a head that would resemble a mini brontosaurus, and a body that's built like an elephant. Its skin...
Where did we hear all that? Come on, Brittany. We need to do better.
Is said to be dark in color and like an oily black and smooth in texture. So Skinfin doesn't look like the average lake monster when you think of a lake monster like Nessie or Champ. And it doesn't act like the average lake monster either. Well, Champ, yeah. Well, Nessie's an ocean, a sea monster, but still, my point remains the same. Usually, when you hear of a lake monster,
Nessie
the encounter
in the ocean. I feel like Nessie's in a lake.
Will say how the creature was observing and was curious, or it was shy and wanted to, like, you know, stay to itself, or just it was a quick glimpse and the creature dove back underwater. But not Skinfin. This creature almost seems like it wants to hurt people who encroach on its territory. The most famous encounter with Skinfin took place in 1958. Eric Paget was out on the lake with his father.
Okay,
they were water skiing.
You know, I like Brer or whatever the little baby's name. She's got some shit to say there. It's kind of cute, but we don't need to hear the Eric story again. Let's move forward. Okay, let's check this out here.
Up on the shore,
Ooh,
a
okay.
viable aquatic beast that had washed her. There was enough for the creature. They
Gotcha.
that ended up creating this like monster hunting group
that okay.
went out to look for the creature. They came up empty-handed. A few months later, there was an unidentifiable aquatic beast that had washed up on the shore of Lake Powell. Obviously, this gained a lot of attention, and they decided to chop the head off of the creature and send it for testing to figure out what it was. The head eventually ended up at the Smithsonian Institute, where the remains came back of a decaying black tip shark.
Oh,
but it
shit.
didn't make sense for a black tip shark to be in Lake Powell, Arizona.
That's, hold on. We got a little sleuthing. Come back over meow. How would it get, let's see. Okay, let's follow. So, that dries up. Well, yeah, that dries up. Yeah. Okay. So this river goes down. I'm trying to trace it, see where we can get to the ocean. Okay. Oh, we split off. This little dude right here. Think it could have swam down this tiny ass little thing? Look at, oh, maybe. Look at. Goes this way. All the way down here. It kind of maybe splits, but no. Okay, on. Let's close in. Yeah, no. So we're going this way. And it keeps going down here. That's like half a fucking creek. That's not even a river. Pretty sure I take piss that are bigger than that. White Mountain Lakes. Oh, dead ends, you shits. Okay. All right. Back up. Boop, 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 boop. Back up. Okay, let's try this again. Lake Powell. Boom, boom. Pretty sure this is the lake right here. Okay. Wait. I done fucked it up. Again. Okay. Lake Powell. So, lake goes over meow. Okay. And those... Okay, this was where we broke off. So it goes this way. Does this one keep going? No, it doesn't look like it. So we're going all the way over here and back up again. Breaks off into tiny little lakes here, but this is going north. And I don't know, kind of ends. Oh, you got a burp. I missed it. Fuck. Oh well. Just burped right in your ear, and there's nothing you can do about it. Okay, keep going. Oh, look at this. Okay, now we're getting in some big-ass water here. Okay. This is all the way in Las Vegas. That doubles back. Okay, wait, look. Okay, we go down. Okay. Goes back into a teeny tiny lake, but wait. Keep going. Oh shit. Do you think a fucking black tip shark could have swam all the way up this way? Or do you think somebody bought it as a pet, right? Somebody was like, ooh, I've always wanted a black tip shark. And then, you know, or maybe they thought it was a clownfish. They were like, oh, that's a clownfish. And then it turned out to be a little baby shark. And they're like, oh shit, we don't want that. So now it splits going down this way. We're now in Mexico. So, okay, here's two ways right here, right? So the river right here, it's following along, doing its river thing. It looks like it keeps going. It keeps going under, does it keep going? No, looks like it breaks off, and it could go down here, which would put it in Lake Laguna Salada. Okay. But so it doesn't ever touch anywhere near Tijuana. Okay. All that distance and we did not hit Tijuana. Okay. All right. But it did go down this way, right? And we're kind of losing it. Looks like right here it's going down, right? Or is that a border of something? Nope, that's the river. It says river. Okay, so we're following the river. It doubles back over here. Oh shit, look at that. We're in the fucking ocean. Okay. Wow. The Gulf of California. So there is a series of rivers that go bloop, 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 all the way to Las Vegas, then whoop, 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 all the way over here to Lake Powell. Isn't that crazy? A shark could have swam all up that shit to Lake Powell. Wow. See, that's why I don't get in the water, ladies and gentlemen. Not even in Wyoming. I wouldn't even get in Wyoming. Fuck that.
When it's actually native to tropical and coastal waters. But that is because there is another Lake Powell in Florida. And that makes a whole lot more sense on how a black-tipped shark washed up on shore. But
oh, shit. Well, we probably should have watched that part, right?
when you search skinfin, this story, this encounter, will come up with the actual skinfin encounter and with the actual skinfin lore.
Look at
Because
that.
of both states having a
Brittany coming in with the win. We gave her a like, right? Totally.
Need for proof and evidence became that this shark was proof that skinfin existed when it didn't even happen in the same lake. Numerous fishermen have reported seeing large wakes move past them on their boats, like when they're on their boats.
Conspiracies and all
the
that.
water is calm. And large groups of people of 10 or more have also seen these large wakes and even air bubbles coming to the surface. So clearly people are experiencing something a little strange and unexplained, but no one knows exactly what it is. Some people believe that skinfin is simply just
fat cat in the back, so fat that it made that banging noise,
and unexplained, but no one knows exactly what it is. Some people believe that skinfin is simply just pike, which do exist in Lake Powell in Arizona. Others believe that it could be manatees. Now, manatees do not live in Lake Powell in Arizona.
and manatees are cool. They're like super chill.
This lake is around 590 feet deep. So it is possible, their argument, the people that believe this, is that it is possible that there is an unknown
Are there people that believe it though, or did somebody just write it into that one website?
species of manatee in the lake. But that also leads to the argument that, you know, it's an extremely deep lake. It's an extremely large lake. So it is possible for there to be something entirely different living in the lake. I want to know what you guys think, if you guys have ever encountered skinfin or something strange in general. Let me know in the comments down below, or you can go ahead and email me your paranormal encounter at Brittany Greer Ghosts at...
Well, like and subscribed. Looks like Brittany here does a whole bunch of the, what do you call it? Paranormal and stuff like that. So yeah, good stuff. All right. She had a little more information for us, did a little more sleuthing. All right. Pretty good. That's what I like to see. It's a little bit better than people who just read the internet. Right. Not looking at anybody in particular here. Okay. So we're going to move on. We already got Lake Powell, right now. Okay. We're going to move to the most famous one. My stream technically should have ended 2 minutes ago, and I can't end it. I can't end it without talking about, well, either of these next three big ones. I saved the most famous for last. Chupacabra, right? Okay, everybody knows El Chupacabra, and it's in my life, always been the most closest related to Arizona, New Mexico, Nevada, the Southwest, right? Okay, so El Chupacabra is a cryptid that is renowned for its attacks on livestock, hence the Spanish name, the goat sucker. It supposedly eats or mainly sucks the blood of chickens, goats, and other farm animals and pets. It has been reported all over the Americas, particularly the southwestern U.S., Mexico, and Puerto Rico. There are two common versions of the chupacabra. There is a reptilian kind, the true chupacabra. Uh-oh, so we got like a little race war going on here. There's the true chupacabras, the purebloods, the reptilians, and a canid kind, which I'm assuming is like the dog kind, which are also called blue dogs. Oh, never heard that. Interesting. There have been more than 2,000 sightings of both types. When it sucks blood, it allegedly makes an odd noise. Okay, well, I mean, technically, what is a normal noise to make when you're sucking blood, right? Is it like sounding like you're sucking through a straw? I'm just burping like crazy. Okay. Explanation. Wow, look at all the types. Look at all these. Canadian, Puerto Rican, Grunch in New Orleans. All right. Indian chupacabra and the Japanese chupacabra. Oh, heartburn. Oh, shit. All these chupacabras just making me too excited. Hold on. Ooh. Oh. Ooh. It's on fire there. Okay. Let's go over some sightings. The sightings are always good. We don't have to go over too much because we got a few sightings to look through. Then, let's hit description and explanations. Hold on. Okay, explanations. In Hood County, Texas, in July 2010, local animal control officers shot and killed an alleged chupacabra. Texas A&M University scientists conducted tests on it and found it to be a coyote-dog hybrid with mange and internal parasites. Ooh, that really sucks. Mange is a classic contagious skin disease caused by parasitic mites seen primarily in domesticated animals. This has led many to believe that the canine chupacabra sightings are animals infected with mange. Others believe the reptile chupacabra to be an alien. The description. The most common description of the chupacabra is a strange breed of wild dog. This form is mostly hairless, hence the mange, and has a pronounced spinal ridge, hence the mange, usually pronounced eye sockets, fangs, and claws. It is claimed that this breed may be an example of a dog-like reptile. Unlike conventional predators, the chupacabra is said to drain all of the animal's blood and sometimes organs, usually through 3 holes in the shape of an upside-down triangle or through 1 or 2 holes. Another description of the chupacabras, although not as common, describes a reptile-like creature, appearing to have leathery skin or scaly greenish-gray skin. Sharp spines or quills running down its back, and in some cases, leathery wings. This form stands approximately 3 to 4 feet high and stands and hops in a similar fashion to a kangaroo, originating in the earliest Puerto Rican reports. In at least one sighting, the creature was reported to hop 20 feet. This variety is said to have a dog or panther-like nose and face, a forked tongue, and large fangs. It is said to hiss and screech when alarmed, as well as leave behind a sulfuric stench. When it screeches, some reports assert that the chupacabra's eyes glow an unusual red, which gives the eyewitnesses nausea. So, this is, damn it, balls. Let's, boop, boop. So here's the variations. Here's dog boy, lizard boy, combination of the two. Is he got a wiener there? And vulture dude. And then really freaky alien guy. Okay, all right. So those are some of the descriptions you get. Now, we're going to move to somewhere else for the sightings. We're not going to hit the sightings here, okay, because I got a few of my own sightings we need to look up. Here is chupacabra sighting. We don't know. 2013. So in Deer Creek, Oklahoma, an Oklahoma man believes he snapped pictures of a mythical creature known as a chupacabra. Chupacabra is a Spanish word that translates into goat sucker. Legends of the sickly, scary, wild-like animal have been circulating for years with spottings in several states, including Texas and Arizona. So Craig Martin says the legendary cryptid has been prowling in a field and feeding off the dead carcass of an animal. He told the people in Oklahoma City that he took the pictures. He thought it looks like a chupacabra. That's immediately what we thought, and it looks exactly the same, he said. Not much difference at all. Martin says it's different from a coyote, but Michael Bergen with the Oklahoma Department of Wildlife also told K4TV that the picture is something less mythical. What we're dealing with here is just a coyote with a bad case of mange. I'm not saying it's not part coyote, but I think it could be a hybrid. I think it's probably mixed with another species of dog, but it's definitely not just a regular coyote. They can say what they want. Meanwhile, the debate and mystique of the chupacabra will no doubt continue, with these new pictures only adding to the folklore and legend. And we got a random ass picture of feet. Okay. So, hold on. All right. So there's your chupacabra sighting. Yeah, that's totally a coyote with mange. That is. I've definitely seen mange. I haven't seen a coyote with mange, but I've seen a coyote and I've seen mange. I know it looks like it kind of has a pig snout here, but you look at that, that's a coyote with mange. That's sad. It sucks. That's a bummer, but that's what that is for sure. So I feel like this sighting here, there's so many sightings of these chupacabras. Here's another one: chupacabra, legend or lie. Okay, so here, let's boop, boop. God, I hate how they just shittily blurred out the sides, so it's kind of, but, I mean, gotta be honest. You see where the fur is dropping off? That's mange. That's a dog with mange, is what it is. So throughout history, many cultures have passed down legends. Legends are based on an element of truth. The rest is mythical and left up to your imagination. And so the legend goes. In Puerto Rico, March 1995, there were reports of sightings of the chupacabra. Sheep and goats were attacked. When these animals were discovered, puncture wounds were found in the chest, and the animal was drained of blood. Ooh, nasty. So, wait, where is this sighting? This was in... It's not going to tell us. This can't be from 1995, right? Maybe it is. The name chupacabra comes from chuper, which means to suck, cabra, which means goat. The term goat sucker dates back to Mayan mythology to 1400 BC. Oh, didn't know that. There are two physical descriptions. First is reptilian, yada, yada, yada. Second is most commonly cited breed of wild dog that is hairless. Through the years, many swore they saw it, like one couple here in Tucson. Okay, here we go. Teresa Monroe and her boyfriend say they were heading home after grocery shopping and noticed a creature on the side of the road. Hey, look, it's a chupacabra lying right there and on the concrete, said Monroe. She says they drove back around to take a closer look. The ears were like elf-like, like real pointing out, and the tail was super long, and just on top of it was hair, she explained. The chupacabra sightings have been made, but turned out to be a dog-like mammal with a skin disease caused by mites. However, Monroe says there were no dog tags, leash, or collar, and this animal looked healthy. I don't know about that. If that's that picture don't look like healthy to me. On the top of him was fur. On the bottom, his legs, his lower half was just skin, she said. It was just plain skin, no hair, no nothing, just skin. She said she looked up the similarities between a coyote and chupacabra and is certain this creature was not a coyote. You don't believe it until you see it, and what I saw, I believed that what I saw, it was just different, Monroe insisted. I've never seen anything like that. Nothing. No dog, no coyote, nothing like that. It was just different. Well, if this is the picture, that's a dog with mange, okay? That is not healthy at all. I mean, it looks like it's eating, sure, and here we go. Chupacabra caught on cell phone in Goodyear, Arizona. Okay, let's check this out. See what Darren Nomad Jackson over here has to say. All right, Nomad. Hit us up. Here we go.
Well, this happened on April 2011. I was driving down the street taking my kids to school, and I saw something at the corner of my eye. It looked like a strange dog. But then, I was like, wait a minute, that thing kind of ugly, And so I tried to get a closer look. And then I was like, whoa, that thing looked just like the chupacabra. That video I saw. And I said, ain't nobody going to believe this. So I got to get this on tape. So all I had was my cell phone.
Hold on. What do you think? I mean, that's a dog, right? I don't know about this.
So I got to get this on tape. So all I had was my cell phone. So I'm driving down the street, cell phone hanging out the window, you know, trying to get a picture of this, you know. And the thing suddenly takes off and it runs along the fence, you know. And it heads out back a little opening and goes right into the storm drains, you know. And I was like, that wasn't right. I mean, look, it had a muscular body, so it didn't look like no sick dog because it was yoked, you know. It had that little rat tail. It had some dark black eyes, you know. I ain't never seen a dog looking like that, you know. It kind of like just made me pause for a second. But you be the judge, you know. Is that a mangy mutt or is that the chupacabra?
I'm not convinced. Let's go live. Oh,
I took control, went solo, and built my own online.
Nobody cares what you built.
What happened on April 2?
Well, I don't know if I believe any of those. All three of those look like mangy dogs to me, but chupacabra, I have to spell it out. Sightings in Arizona. That was the 2021. We already looked at that one. I think this is the one. Phoenix police rescued a baby they believed had been alone. Oh. Sheesh. That's one we already looked at. That had nothing to do with that. Oh, get out of here. Chupacabra sighting in Tucson. Okay. And the beauty of an open mind. Okay. All right. Okay. We don't have any pictures of this. Okay. Hold on. Let's see what happened here. Okay. K-Gun 9's chief meteorologist, Aaron Christensen, didn't see fangs on the beast that was caught like, well, a chupacabra in the headlights in front of her car. But she did get a pretty good glimpse of the critter as it skittered across Speedway west of Camino Seco earlier this month. Seriously, she wrote in an email. I don't know if what I saw was really a chupacabra, but I can say that I've never seen anything like this animal before. What I saw was just a very strange-looking animal. It was slightly larger than a coyote, no fur, leathery-looking skin. It was mostly black with gray and brown splotches. It had a long rat-looking tail. Its face looked like a bat with disproportionately large ears, which also reminded me of a bat. Christensen's sighting is not the only time an inexplicable creature reared its creepy head in Old Pueblo. Let me go back here. Oh, hold on. About 20 years back, my fiance and a pal were sitting in their truck along South Houghton near an old corral. A thing came walking out of the desert, he says. It looked like a bear walking on 2 feet and had kind of like a cow's head. We called him Buffalo Man. I don't know what it was. I've never seen anything like it. While the Buffalo Man does not share some of the traits as the beast seen by Christensen, variations on the chupacabra do exist. Yep, we do know that. Creepy, you bet. Crazy, no way. It takes a lot of guts to admit seeing a chupacabra or even a strange beast that may have been a chupacabra. Kudos to Christensen and Mr. Fiance for being so bold and illustrating the beauty of an open mind. Well, fair enough. I gotta say here, you know, a lot of this looks like mangy mutts, you know. See, we already seen that one. Chupacabra at Goodyear. Okay. Hold on. This is in... Yeah, see, that's a dog that just needs some help. You know, I do like the idea of a chupacabra, but in some cases, this is just a little bit sad, you know, because that clearly is a dog that just needs food and it's got mange and it, you know, needs medical attention. But it is what it is. Every single one we've seen so far here has been a dog with mange, in my opinion. I'm pretty certain of it. Okay, Phoenix New Times. Let's check out one more, right? Thinks it saw a chupacabra again. You're just seeing chupacabras everywhere. Or some of y'all just don't take care of your fucking dogs. That's what it is. Let's see. Goodyear. We already read that one. Okay. Oh, turned out to be wrong again. Yeah, that was the mutt. Read Stout story. According to Stout, some think it's a chupacabra, the creature of urban legend. Okay, for the third time in less than a year, KPHO is reporting a sighting of the mythical animal, which doesn't actually exist. Oh, come on, you can't be like that. If you're unfamiliar with the fictitious beast, there it is. Yeah. Under the headline, Could It Be Another Chupacabra Sighting? Steve Stout tells the tale of a Tucson meteorologist who claimed he saw the chupacabra. So this is the other dude. I think we already talked about a meteorologist. Unless this is another meteorologist. Meteorologists are seeing all kinds of weird shit. Don't get that job. All kinds of funky ass shit. Cold news, chupacabra sighting in Tucson. I think I went over that one. Creepy critter caught on camera. Okay, well, we got video footage here. Ooh, let's see. This might be after an ad for Restream. Yeah.
Oh, no. I've been teasing them all night about this. Let's see it. So we have something spooky and creepy to show you.
Ooh, we like spooky and creepy.
I've been bracing myself all night. Oh, what is that? What do we think this is? Where was this? Okay, let me tell you all the fun little details.
It eats like a raccoon. I don't know.
It looks okay, so this was all caught on video. This was in Pueblo. No. This was off of Mohawk Road by the mall. A viewer sent us this video earlier this afternoon. She says she has no idea what this little creature is. Me either.
Yeah.
She said she has seen it once before during the daytime. She doesn't know what it is. Do you guys have any guesses?
He's like a little badger.
Well, are his eyes red? It looks red in the video.
It could be the flash, though.
Yeah, you're right. That happens to the best of us. You guys know what the chupacabra is? That's what that looks like. It could be a chupacabra. Spotted on 11 News. That's kind of cool. The way that
They're just gonna keep replaying it.
Are like pulling something.
It's almost like a little monkey. I don't know.
It looks like a little monkey. I agree.
Does there a monkey escape from the Pueblo Zoo?
I cannot confirm nor deny, but so the viewer, she didn't know what this was. I read some of the comments because she posted this on Facebook. Yeah. I had some good guesses. One, a wolverine.
I feel like wolverines are bigger than that.
I don't know. I have no clue. I've never seen one, but I looked it up on Google. It kind of looks the same, or maybe like a possum or a raccoon. With maybe like some hair loss.
That's a big ass possum. I guess possums could get that big, right?
Badger, one of our producers.
Raccoon was what I was gonna say.
Badger's a good guess.
I think, like, realistically, it's probably a, what did you say first?
Possum?
A possum? A possum, a wolverine. Do they do that, though?
Maybe it's a baby Colorado Sasquatch.
If they get another video, please send that back in, because I would love to see, like, if she saw it in the daytime. Yeah.
Yes.
In the daytime. Some more. And we also would love to hear from the viewers about what you thought it was.
Oh, that was in Pueblo, Colorado. Okay.
Yeah, I thought it was going to
Okay. Yeah, that was kind of an interesting one. Sure, that got me. A little badger. I don't know about that. But more pictures of feet and shit. Whatever this website is, they just do that. It's just feet left and right. Okay, well, there you have it. So, there's your chupacabra, right? Swallowing my own spit. So, chupacabra is a pretty famous, the most famous, at least outside of Arizona, one of the most famous cryptids in the state. And unfortunately, though, we watched more than a few videos, and almost all of them seem like they're dogs with mange, is what it looks like. It looks like dogs that are starving, that are mangy, and probably need a vet, which is a bummer. That's too bad. Again, the whole dog-looking chupacabra, I gotta be honest, I ain't sold on none of that shit. Okay, I think a bunch of silly-ass people are running around taking pictures of dogs that are dying and being like, look, it's a fucking cryptid, and then take the picture and then try to get, 5 minutes of fame off of it. But, the reptilian guy that comes from Puerto Rico, that was written about in, like, Mayan shit or whatever they said, That's kind of like, that one's creepy. That one, I like that one. The dog one, I don't really like because it turns out it's mostly just a bunch of people taking pictures of dogs with mange, and that's about it. You know what I'm saying? Every single one of those, tell me what you think, but that all looked like dogs with mange, almost to the T. I've seen dogs with mange. I haven't seen coyotes with mange, but I've seen dogs with mange, and that's exactly what it looks like. The hair falling off, the whole 9 yards, right? Skinny tail, all of it. So anyway, you decide for yourself what you think. We're going to continue with the Thunderbird. So we were going to hit the Thunderbird in the Arizona cryptid video, but that one ran way too long. This one's running long, which is cool. But yeah, that one ran way too long, and I wasn't able to get to the Thunderbird. I was hungry. I needed to eat. I'm kind of hungry right now, and I need to eat. But we're still going to hit up the Thunderbird here and learn a little bit about it, because this is an interesting cryptid that's been spotted in almost every single state in the country, right? But Arizona has a lot of sightings, supposedly, right? So let's listen. Let's read. The Thunderbird is a cryptozoological creature associated with large bird-like animals that live anywhere from northern Canada and Alaska down to Central America. Similar animals often appear in Native American mythology. Some tales tell of enormous eagles strong enough to carry whales back to their nests. Since pioneers began moving west across the North American plains, sightings of the large birds have been reported. Similar stories appear in civilization around the world. So here's the legend. Native tribes all across North America, especially along the Pacific coast and the Great Lakes area, have stories depicting enormous birds of prey. Some stories told that these birds were so large and powerful that when they flapped their wings, thunder was created, hence Thunderbird. Lightning flashed out of their eyes and water fell off of their backs, creating rain. The tribes used thunderbirds to explain some of the things that happen naturally, such as storms and other forms of weather. The legend of the Passamaquoddies, for example, describes the quest of two Native Americans in search of the source of thunder high in the mountains. Other stories said that there was a thunderbird who battled an enormous killer whale. When the two beasts fought, they destroyed much of the land, knocking down trees and causing much destruction. What a bunch of dicks. Although dangerous and powerful beings, thunderbirds were also seen as benevolent nature spirits, and they sometimes assisted the tribes in their search for food during periods of famine. Oh, well, so they're kind of nice, too, when they're not duking it out with the whales. The indigenous, I think they wanted to spell there, the indigenous rocks known as Thunderstone are the eggs of these creatures, according to some legends. Okay, now, we're not going to go over the 1977 Lawndale, Illinois attack. We're going to save that for, well, when we go over Illinois. Thunderbirds today. Sighting of the large bird creatures have been reported for many years, at least since people began settling further west in the United States and Canada. One of the most famous reports is from 1890, when two Arizona cowboys claimed to have shot and killed a large bird. It was described as having no feathers, and it had a head similar to that of an alligator. The two men supposedly dragged the dead bird back to town after killing it. The report seems to suggest that this creature looked more like a pterodactyl or a dragon than any modern-day bird. Oh, shit. Today, cryptozoologists usually refer to thunderbird legends in the same way as any flying cryptids, such as the Congamado, the Rock, the Ropin, and even sometimes the Jersey Devil. We'll be getting into that one a little bit later in the series. These flying creatures are often associated with modern-day pterosaurs. Many of the encounters with the creatures, including the thunderbirds, are all described similarly. Quite often, the creatures are said to resemble pterosaurs, which are thought to be extinct for millions of years. That's like your basic pterodactyls, right? So here's a couple explanations. Thunderbirds, explanation one. Thunderbirds may be modern-day teratorns. However, this is unlikely since no flying bird bigger than an albatross or an Andean condor has been discovered in recent times. But then again, they could still live. Okay, so it's a big-ass bird, right? Well, you know. That was self-explanatory. Pterosaurs are suspects in thunderbird sightings, but this seems far-fetched as pterosaurs, according to science, have been long extinct since the late Cretaceous period around 66 million years ago. Or, number 3, it could be some exotic non-native birds from like the African crowned eagles and Andean condors, possibly escaping from captivity. may have played a role in Thunderbird sightings, with African crowned eagles said to have caused so-called Thunderbird attacks and Andean condors being mistaken for the larger mythical Thunderbirds at first glance. Let's look this up here. African crowned eagles. Let's check it out. African crowned eagles. Okay. How big are these bitches? Well, you know, they're goofy looking, that's for sure. It doesn't look like it's all that much bigger than your average, you know. Oh. Ah, the only bird that considers human prey. Okay, so that's why. I was going to say, it doesn't look all that much bigger than a bald eagle, right? Then there is the Andean condors, which they say is the biggest bird in the world. Next to human. Okay, that's good. Ooh, yeah. That's a beast. That's a big-ass bird. Look at that. Okay, sure. I get that one. So maybe it is an Andean condor. That's what everybody thinks the Thunderbird is, right? That's a pretty big-ass bird, sure. I don't know about the African, what was it, the African crowned eagle? I don't really know about that one. But, it does attack people. So maybe that's why everyone's so freaked out about it. Okay. And the fourth explanation, Thunderbird sightings may just be hoaxes made by pranksters. Oh, okay. Well, that was the least exciting of all of the explanations. But it is one. You got to say it. It has to be thrown out there, all right? Some people are just bullshitting sometimes, okay? So there's a little bit about Thunderbirds, right? Let's read a little more about Arizona's tale of the Thunderbird, all right? Because we are talking about Arizona here. So, from dragons in China to the Minotaur in Greece, the one thing all cultures have in common are their outstanding creatures. While some are good and others are bad, they are all interesting nonetheless. Beyond that, Native American mythology is known to have the most fantastical creatures. Their legends and indigenous folklore are filled with a plethora of diverse, eye-catching beings, like the Arizona Thunderbird. This is mainly due to the fact that animals are used to communicate different key values and spiritual beliefs. Okay, origins of this cryptid. First, let's explore the origins of the Native American Thunderbird. To start, this creature predates European colonization and has deep roots in ancient Native American culture. Some of the first stories involving this cryptid date back to the Ojibwe tribe in the early 1250 CE. While its exact origin remains unknown, experts speculate Thunderbirds might have been based on a real bird that coexisted with humans during the Pleistocene period. So that's like, when they had the saber-toothed tigers and shit, So that's possible, right? Because, a few million years before that, they had the big-ass dodo birds and shit, right? And those things would fuck you up. Those are big-ass birds. They make that Andean condor look like a little fucking pipsqueak, right? Cryptozoologists also compare Thunderbirds to prehistoric pterodactyls. Beyond that, many other Native American tribes told stories of the Thunderbird. This includes the Tlingit and Pawnee tribes. Remember, the Tlingit, they are in Alaska. Remember, I didn't get to the Thunderbirds in Alaska, but they have tales of them in Alaska. And it would be the Tlingit tribe that had those tales, and the Pawnee tribes, and a handful of other tribes spread over across the United States. Okay, interesting. And then this kind of goes into it, and what does it look like? Yeah. While the exact physical description of a Thunderbird is still relatively unknown, alleged sightings often describe them as massive vultures, condors, eagles, or hawks, or any other kind of bird. So it looks like a bird, all right? What do you want from me? They usually have dark feathers and long, sharp talons. Some Thunderbirds also have a white ring of feathers around their necks or white-colored heads, similar to bald eagles. Do I still have the Andean condor? I don't. So let's pop that back up. They had, see, white ring. Look at that. Look. Andean condor looks like a pretty good, wow, I didn't even know that was a thing. Holy shit balls. That thing is just, wow, wouldn't want to piss that thing off in a dark alley. Jesus. Okay. So most notably, their wingspans are said to be absolutely massive, exceeding lengths of over 70 feet across. That's pretty big. That's pretty huge. As per native folklore, Thunderbirds also have unique supernatural abilities, since they are frequently depicted with lightning bolts or other storm-related qualities. Moreover, it is said that the flapping of their wings has the power to cause thunderstorms. which we hence thunderstorms, right? So the hidden truth within them. This is going to get into, this is, they talk about explaining natural disasters, sure. Oh, and then it ends. Okay, well, so that's at least where the idea comes from, and which is kind of cool. I really like the cryptids that come from mythology that's hundreds and, at this point, thousands of years old almost, because there's a precedent for it. Before anybody else was here, before we had modern technology, this was a thing that people talked about. And I don't know, it adds it to me a little more an air of, what's the word, sincerity? Maybe, I don't know, that's just my thoughts on it, right? But rest assured, this isn't the last we're going to hear of the Thunderbird, which is why I don't have any videos for you guys. There's actually tons of videos on the internet about Thunderbirds. We're going to save them for a later stream because Thunderbirds are everywhere, right? So we will be visiting these guys again. But as far as Arizona is concerned, very commonly talked about one in Arizona. But we do got to get to the last cryptid on this list before I need to break and get some food and go kiss my cutie pie because she got home like an hour and a half ago and I still haven't even said hi to her. So I don't know how her day went. So the Mogollon monster. Yes, I know it's pronounced the Mogollon, but I'm pretty sure it's called the Mogollon monster is how you pronounce that for some reason. I don't know why, but that's just what I'm told, right? Don't shoot the messenger, yeah? So forget Bigfoot. Arizona locals know to watch out for the Mogollon monster. Okay. So what lurks in the middle of the night along the Mogollon Rim is the stuff of urban legend, folklore, myth, and campfire tale. The Mogollon monster, named for its association with the Mogollon Rim area, is often described as a large, hairy creature with ape-like features similar to Bigfoot. I warned you guys of this before I even started the 50 States of Cryptids series. Okay. We're going to run into so many different variations of Bigfoot. You're going to get tired of it. So far, we got in Alabama, we got White Thing. In Alaska, the one up there, the state farthest north. In Alaska, it's the Alaskan Bushman. And in Arizona, it's the Mogollon monster. So, sightings of the Mogollon monster have been reported in the eastern part of Arizona, and people have described a hairy hominid with human-like proportions that emits pungent smells. It's important to note that these claims are part of local folklore, and there is no scientific evidence to support the existence of such a creature. But if you're camping or hiking on the rim and like to return from your adventures with a tall tale to tell, you should really include Arizona's most famous mythical creature. So what is the Mogollon monster? The Mogollon monster is a legendary creature said to inhabit the Mogollon Rim. Let's look that up. Mogollon Rim. Let's put you on the map. Yep, Mogollon Rim right there. Okay, Mogollon Campground. Nice. Let's save Arizona spooky sites. Okay. So let's take a look at this. This will be our map at the end of the day. We got some pretty good ones. What's this? What's that? What are you? Oh, that's the Grand Canyon. We don't need you. Get out of here, Grand Canyon. So, but there you have it, right? There is our finished map of Arizona cryptids. All right. So, similar to Bigfoot, the Mogollon monster is generally portrayed as a large, hairy, ape-like creature. And then it goes on to say, what does it look like? And it just kind of already told us that, so we don't need to keep reading that. What does a Mogollon monster sound like? Reports of the sound associated with the Mogollon monster vary, but they often include eerie and unusual vocalizations. Reports of the elusive beast involving a piercing, sometimes deafening scream or howl, unlike that produced by any known wildlife. Yeah, well, you got to think. If you see a giant, hairy-ass monkey man in the woods and it howls, that's normal, right? It would be far more abnormal if you saw a big-ass, hairy-ass man in the woods and he stopped and said, "Hey, man, how you doing? Could you point me to the nearest bathroom?" Like, that would freak you out. You would be like, "What? No, you're supposed to howl." That would be way weirder, right? So, of course, it howls, it screams, it growls. It doesn't ask you for directions, though. Where does the Mogollon monster live? On the Mogollon Rim. Where's the Mogollon Rim in Arizona? We don't need you to tell us. We already know. How are Mogollon monsters encounters described? There have been many reported encounters with the Mogollon monster, and each rendition varies. You can read many of them in Weird Arizona and Susan A. Farnsworth's book, The Mogollon Monster, Arizona's Bigfoot. Ooh, cool. According to Treat's book, cryptozoologist Don Davis was one of the first people to report an encounter with the Mogollon Monster. Davis said he witnessed the tall, hairy beast during a Boy Scout trip in the mid-1940s when he was about 13 years old. There, standing still, less than 4 feet in front of me, was a monster-like man. The creature was huge. Its eyes were deep set and hard to see, but they seemed expressionless. His chest, shoulders, and arms were massive, especially the upper arms. Boy does his curls, easily upwards of 6 inches in diameter, perhaps much, much more. Okay. And even earlier reports, 6 inches in diameter for the upper arms? I don't know if they got that correct. 6 inches upper arms. Maybe they mean like the wrist in diameter. Oh, okay. Across. That's not, bodybuilders got more than that. Yeah. Okay. Well, whatever. So there's that guy's retelling of what he saw when he was a kid. And here is a sighting of the Mogollon Monster in Arizona. Let's pop back over here. And let's give it a listen.
Well, what's Halloween without a good ghost story?
Gotta have one.
In this case, a good monster story, as in the Mogollon Monster, Arizona's very own Bigfoot.
Yeah, the Mogollon Rim is a steep cliff, basically, that runs for about 200 miles from northern Arizona eastward, nearing the border with New Mexico. It's a rugged wilderness that many creatures call home. And as Linda Williams reports tonight, one man says the Mogollon Monster is among them.
Mogollon. Okay. I kind of had it,
There's all kinds of wildlife on the Mogollon Rim. As we watched, this young elk strolled calmly down a road near Woods Canyon Lake, with its mother nearby. But according to some, there is wildlife in these woods not so keen to be caught on camera.
They range from about this tall to about 8 feet.
Mitchell Waite is the chief monster chaser for MogollonMonster.com.
Well, I think they're the same species, but probably different races.
The Mogollon Monster is Arizona's Bigfoot. And according to Waite, the Mogollon Monster got his name in 1947 when a big, hairy beast raided a Boy Scout camp near Tonto Creek.
Because it happened on the Mogollon Rim, the Boy Scouts called it the Mogollon Monster. And that's kind of what stuck,
Waite, whose family settled northern Arizona, first heard about the monster around the campfire.
They were all about the hairy man or the wild man or something like that. And of course, I didn't believe them. We took all these campfire stories and we published them into a book called The Mogollon Monster, Arizona's Bigfoot. And they were just that, campfire stories. No proof, just stories.
But stories slowly turned into reality after Waite started receiving reports of Bigfoot sightings and started to investigate for himself. His first sighting was 7 years ago while driving up on the rim.
I just happened to be catch something out of my corner of my eye, and I turned and looked, and this thing stood up out of a small cave. And my first thought was, it looked like Cousin It on the Addams Family, But by the time I got it backed up, it had already covered probably 30 yards and disappeared into the bushes.
Waite showed us photos of the Mogollon Monster he and his team have captured.
Cal, look at that.
This video from inside a cave made of sticks and pine needles.
Look at
this, says Waite, is a small baby Bigfoot trying to hide in the corner from his night vision camera. Waite has mapped Mogollon Monster sightings from across the state. There are many, but most are up on the rim, and he's had his own sightings.
Probably well over a dozen times now.
I don't know what they're looking at there.
Basically, we try to tweak their interest to come to us.
It seems Bigfoot has a big sweet tooth.
Cookies or baked goods, anything sweet. They really like sweets.
Footprint castings represent the traditional Bigfoot proof of life. Waite has plenty of those too, along with plenty of doubters.
But of course, there's lots of skeptics that just won't won't accept it.
But also plenty of believers who have a new way to track down an old legend, the Mugian monster.
Now with modern social media and so forth, it's becoming more and more acceptable for people to share what they've seen and what they've heard, and even videos or photos. Now believe me, there's a lot of hoaxers out there, but there are a few reputable people that are searching for the truth.
Okay. I don't know. Do you believe him? Oh, that's Fox. We don't need to like them. Okay. And let's see here. Truly. Ooh, 10 million subscribers. Okay. Well, let's see what they have to say about the Mogian. Was it Mogian? Mogian monster. Okay.
I got a heat signature. There's something out there that's more than just the light. Dude, what the hell?
Nash and his crew are deep in the remote Mogollon Rim on the hunt for a fearsome beast known as the Mogollon Monster. Will it rip off their heads with its big hands and big feet? Or will they come out alive? All this and more in this episode of Unexplained. The Mogollon Monster, aka the Arizona Bigfoot, is an ape-like creature over 7 feet tall, covered in long black, white, and red hair, with large eyes and talon-like fingers with 2-inch claws.
It is said that the creature is nocturnal and very violent, who likes to decapitate deer and other wildlife prior to eating them. The poor little babies.
Reports claim that it has a strong and pungent smell described as that of a skunk with bad BO.
That's like the worst smell. A skunk, like not just a skunk, but with bad BO on top of it. Like that's a horrible smell.
So we're here in Arizona looking for the Mogian monster. What can you tell us about that?
So the Mogian monster is basically Arizona's version of Bigfoot. Has to live in an environment 200-mile wide.
This is so intense.
Lots of stories from colonial times on up to today of Bigfoot-type creatures. There hasn't really been a huge population of grizzly bears in Arizona in 100 years.
So we're here investigating the Mogian monster.
Oh, the audio on this is horrible.
The Mogian monster is kind of that's the local variation of Bigfoot, and where that came from.
So it's a type of Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Why don't they just call it Bigfoot?
There was a group of Boy Scouts that was terrorized by a tall, hair-covered, foul-smelling creature.
It sounds like a bear, right?
And roared and screamed and scared them all to death and ate their food, but it left and didn't hurt anybody. And so as soon as it was light the next morning, they packed up and got out of there. And when they told their story to the locals, they needed to come up with a name for it.
So that explains why it has its own name, because like the term didn't reach.
Oh, got you. Okay.
It was a fearsome thing, and it scared them all. They called it the Mogian monster.
I kind of believe in Bigfoot. I don't know. I need proof for things,
Yeah.
And there's been so many sightings. I think that there could be. I'd like to see more. I want to see if they go and find it.
All right, guys. Well, welcome to the middle of the forest on the Mogian Rim.
I'm so excited.
Oh, so they're gonna go look.
A pretty good investigation.
Notice these two here did not. They said Mogollon. Everybody else is Mogian.
Ahead of us, a hell of a lot of ground to cover. So I think the best plan of attack would probably be to split up.
Like the heat camera?
Yeah.
Could you imagine?
Could you imagine a heat camera? I'm growing on this one's commentary here.
What is that? Do you see that?
So here are some steps to follow so that you don't run into a salty Mogian monster.
Step
now
1,
she's saying it
avert
right.
Your
Mogian.
gaze. Do not make direct eye contact. Direct eye contact will cause it to react unpredictably.
Very sensitive about its hair.
Yeah.
Step 2, behave like a forest animal and appear less threatening. So scratch yourself on the back, groom yourself.
Do forest animals scratch themselves on the back?
I don't know. I was gonna say a monkey.
You see a squirrel, it's like itching its back. That'd be so weird. Step 3, do not attempt to outrun the creature. They may be able to run at up to 40 miles per hour. And if you're like any human being, you probably don't stand a chance. I'd be like, sacrifice me, I'm done. This is it for me. I'm sorry,
You know, the trick is to have someone standing next to you and just run faster than them.
guys.
Exactly.
Hey, to those trees. You see it?
Did you see anything? I don't see anything.
I don't know. I don't know if I see anything. I'm trying to.
Yeah, you can't see anything because you're in the way.
I got a heat signature. There's something out there that's more than just the light.
Right there.
Oh, look, I see a little thing down there. You see that?
Like the end of the log, right?
Oh, wait, that's a fire.
Oh, that is fire.
Yeah,
What's
that's
the-
fire.
That's fire. Okay, that's fire.
on my screen.
Are we back at the campfire?
Well, why are they facing
Back
the
at the cat.
fire?
So they were
That's
literally
them.
hearing each other because he was hearing sticks
Yes.
breaking.
Okay.
How did they go in a circle?
I
We
don't
just made
know.
a complete f***ing circle. And we're
That is
looking at
actually
them.
easy to do
How the
when you're
hell
in the
did we do
woods.
that?
For some, there's no difference between a man with a beard and
Okay, well, there's that. Yeah, kind of entertaining. I'll give him a like. Fuck it. Here's a like. You got it. Okay. And we got the Mogollon Rim. There's our finished cryptid map. Okay, let's pop back over here. And we don't need that. Okay, we can actually get out of that and pop over here. And that'll do it for Terrifying Tuesdays. This episode of the 50 States of Cryptids, Arizona Cryptids. All right, so we went over the rake, reptoid, our bat creatures, the Olatau, the yo-yo. Devil monkeys is still my favorite. That's still the dopest. Skinfin's kind of cool, got a funky ass name, but whatever. El Chupacabra, it's cool. I just wish it wasn't a bunch of pictures of mangy ass dogs dying and shit. And then Thunderbird's pretty dope. And the Mogollon Monster, your typical Bigfoot. I'll be honest, I'm not the kind of guy that gets excited about the Bigfoot ones. Just coming, yeah, it's a fucking big ass hairy dude. Okay, whatever. You know, I got a uncle that I can go talk to, and boom, there's my Bigfoot for the year. Okay, so anyways, that does it. I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. If you hung out for the entire live stream, then thank you for doing so. I always appreciate it. And if you saw this on YouTube and you enjoyed it and learned something new, then leave a like and subscribe. I always appreciate that too. Helps the channel out. And yeah, I hope you guys had a good time. If you enjoy the Terrifying Tuesday style of videos, then be sure to check out my Terrifying Tuesday playlist on my YouTube. That's Cool Beans Hot Stuff YouTube channel. And next week, next Tuesday, we'll be coming back for the SCP Foundation. So that's one of my favorite creepypastas. I almost said cryptozoology. Too many C's in this bitch. So yeah, one of my favorite creepypastas. So tune in next Tuesday for that around like 6, 7, something in that area. I don't know. I wing it. Tomorrow would normally be my Wildlife Wednesdays, but y'all don't like wildlife and shit. So no Wildlife Wednesdays. No more cute little animals. Fuck that shit y'all said. So I was going to try something different. I did notice, like, I personally, you know, I started this whole stream so I could research things that I thought were cool and was like, well, you know, if people want to like hang out and tune in and research with me and give me, you know, what they know about a particular subject, that would be dope. That would be awesome. That would be ideal. And so that's what started this stream. And lately I have noticed I am so out of the fucking loop when it comes to politics, any kind of politics at all. Shit's happening in the world and I'm like, oh, I didn't know that was a fucking thing. You know, they could have just dropped a fucking nuke on New York and then I wouldn't know about it until somebody was like, you know, 5 days later and I saw a YouTube video on it. It's like, oh shit, that was a thing. I didn't even know that was happening. So what I'm going to be doing on Wednesdays is picking a political topic, something that's happening in the world, like a world event sort of thing, and going to be researching it for 2-3 hours just so I know what's going on in the world. And it looks like Donald Trump's big, beautiful bill, whatever the fuck that is, just passed today. And I see people freaking out about it. I see people cheering it on. I see people in the middle who are very confused on how they should feel about it. So We're going to read up on Donald Trump's big, beautiful bill tomorrow and see what it actually does. What just got passed? How fucked are we? Okay, that's what we're doing tomorrow. So tune in tomorrow if that sounds like fun. In the meantime, you guys have a wonderful rest of your night. Thanks for hanging out, and I will see you next time. Peace.